everyone, and welcome to the 2022 WSOP online event number 33. It is the final table. It is the main event, Jeremy. We have got an amazing lineup. I have my man Jeremy Osmus, who will be joining us, but I got to tell you guys, 32 bracelet events so far. This is number 33. 62 million in prize money has been awarded, and there has been 126,000 unique entries. This is about as big as it gets for an online tournament. Either the biggest or the second biggest. I'm not sure on that. I know that it's massive. It's a 5,000 entry. It's a main event, and someone will be crowned the World Series of Poker main event champion today. I am Jeff Gross, and I am going to be joined by my man Jeremy Osmus, who is a 5-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner. He also has made the final table of the main event, scoring over 2 million 10 years ago. So, Jeremy, welcome to the show, and how you feeling?
Feeling good. The main event's exciting, and I've been playing it live for 16 years. So I was lucky enough to final table it once, and anytime it rolls around, I'm excited to watch it, check it out, and ready to see some good poker action for sure.
And I got to ask you, because you're fresh off your 5th World Series bracelet. I believe you've won 4 in about a year, which is just kind of wild. And we're playing for an online bracelet, but you've won a live, you've won online bracelets. How does it feel to get that bracelet in the mail from playing a tournament from your underwear?
It's cool. How'd you know I was in my underwear, man? You spying on me or what?
Oh, you weren't streaming? I thought you were streaming that on Twitch. All right, I don't know.
As you can tell, I'm not much of a streamer with my background and all that stuff. So yeah, that's not really my realm, but it's cool. I mean, it's cool to win them, in person, lots of people, and the big final table, the Thunderdome and all that, but online's cool too, in the comfort of your own home. People come out for those tournaments, and Nick Schulman, Negreanu were there, things like that. So it's cool to get a little bracelet in the mail. I got it the other day, and it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, there's over $23 million in this prize pool. If we take a look there, you can see in the total entries for the series. Pretty astounding what's happening with online poker and what GG is doing. And you can see it is exclusive at GGPoker, where you can win the bracelet. They count as real bracelets, right? It's some people might argue an asterisk, but you could argue it's harder to win an online tournament than live, even the quality of play and how many runners you have to go through. And over 62 million, almost 63 million in prize money thus far through 32 events in the World Series of Poker here on GG. But today, again, we are focusing on the main event. So this is event number 33, a lot to play for. There's going to be an interesting look at the chip stacks and the dynamic. We have fairly deep structure. I think the stacks do get reset for the final table between, I think, an average of 40 and 80 big blinds. So plenty, maybe even 40 and 100. So it's a lot of play. We're going to get to see some players be able to go for it, see who sits back, tries to ladder, who goes for the win. Always interesting. And anything for you here, Jeremy, at this juncture of the tournament? It's a final table. ICM pressure extremely high. How do you sort of come into a tournament like this? What are things you're looking at if you're, let's say, a middling stack?
Yeah, so it all depends on your stack, and it's really cool what GG does. They, their structures can get fast in the middle stages, but if you do make the final table, they kind of roll it back and you start a little deeper. I think that's pretty cool, and it's a unique little thing they do, and it gives the small stacks a little more breathing room. So yeah, it'll depend on the stacks. If you're a middle stack, and we'll see the payouts soon. It also depends on the payout structure, but generally online is pretty steady jumps. There's nothing crazy. Live, you get into some bigger jumps, like first place will be a lot more than second, so it makes more sense to go for first. That's typically not the case in online tournaments, and I saw the payouts earlier, and that's not really the case in this. So laddering has big effects. So if there is a short stack, the big stacks can put a lot of pressure on the middle stacks, especially because they'll be wanting to ladder and wait out the small stacks.
Yeah, so we are going to take a look here at the prize pool. So there it is. As you mentioned, the pay jumps and kind of where it gets going. Of course, the top 4 stacks will take home over 7 figures, which is crazy for an online tournament. But this is the main event, and of course, 9th place going to get 279,000. So already every player here is going to be pretty happy with their result, but there's a lot to play for. And what jumps out to me is those top 2 million plus. And as you said, they're sort of, they are kind of gradually going up. There's not like double jumps there, but it does start getting pretty meaty pretty fast. What is there anything that jumps out at those payouts there in particular that's surprising?
It's just, it is gradual, but the scale of this tournament is so large that every jump is very large, and likely a lot of the players here it's going to be very large for, right? Because I know GG does a great job running a ton of satellites, so a lot of people got into this 5K buy-in through a smaller satellite. So these jumps, I say they're incremental and small, but look at this first one. It's almost $100,000, right? So that's real money. That's a lot of money for people, and it's going to impact play. So it's easy to say it's gradual and this and that, but at the end of the day, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollar jumps regularly after the first couple spots. So definitely is going to have a big impact on play, and it's interesting to see which players will kind of go for the win and forget, because also there's value in just winning the main event, right? So it'll be interesting to see who goes for it like that, who wants to ladder and pick up another couple 100,000 here or there, which is a lot of value also. So it'll be fun to watch that.
Yes, it will. And I know you guys are antsy, you're waiting, and we are ready to go to the feature and the final table, 2022 World Series of Poker main event. Let's get you right to the action. We'll take you to the table. We'll take a look at the players, take a look at the chip stacks, and we're going to go and dive right in. There is a look at your finalists. So I got to say, I know, Jeremy, we looked at this earlier. Not a lot of names jump out to you, right? People that you see or you're familiar with. I will say Samuel Wooston is one of the premier marquee players in online poker history. Definitely a crusher and a name that stands out to me. I think Jordan Sperling sounds familiar as well. And I apologize if there's someone there maybe I'm overlooking, but yeah, we have an eclectic group, right? This is a lot of different representation of countries and a wide open game. Anything stack wise, dynamically with seats that really stand out here at the beginning?
Yeah, well, Samuel, as you said, is kind of maybe the most accomplished player here. He does have the chip leader to his left, so he has the worst spot here. And a lot, the chip leader will want to 3-bet you a lot, play hands in position. And here we see Samuel not seeming to care that much. He just has 4s and very early position. A lot of players might pass on that. He might be kind of thinking that players are going to be playing overly tight and he can take advantage of that. And maybe he'll just push some marginal opens, and maybe he's going to see what Eric Matson to his left does. And if he doesn't do anything, you can just keep doing it, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting point, because that is, although it may appear as kind of a tough seat, where if the guy's going to be putting pressure, flatting him, 3-betting him, but at the same token where he does get a light open, right? When he's opening under the gun there with a modest opening and he's not going to get played back that much, he can kind of use that to his advantage too. If that guy on his left is going to fold, he's going to be able to kind of be first in and pick up a lot of spots. So that'll be, I agree, that's probably the most interesting kind of dynamic right now that we get to see. And again, the other big stack kind of crossed the way there, right? 50 million. Everyone else is not super healthy. We do see a few kind of, sub 10 blind or just over 10 blind stacks. So this is going to be interesting. And I got to ask you, Jeremy, we usually do this on the weekly Super Millions. We do like to do a snake draft for a dinner or some kind of wager. Do you want to do a little draft? We could pick some players and bet for a dinner.
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So I'll let you, I'm just we usually do red or black, but you're the guest today. I know you got the Poker Masters. You are leading the competition currently in the series. I think you already have a win and you're number 1 on the leaderboard, and you're very generous to come today and spend some time. I know that you're going to go late reg that event. What event are you playing later today live in Las Vegas?
Today's 10K no limit, the last of the 10Ks, and then there will be 2 25Ks no limits, a 25K PLO, a 50K no limit. So we've already played 5 events, I think. So yeah, I'm lucky enough to take down the first event, and so it's going well so far, but I got to do more if I'm going to win this purple jacket. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, next time you come as a guest, if you win that, I'm gonna ask you to wear that. Actually, that would be fantastic. But go ahead, choose red or black for a flop. We'll do a snake draft. We'll go 1 2 2 2 2 and then 1 or whatever. Some guy's we'll get 4 each, and then we'll leave the last one. I'm gonna give a giveaway as well. I want to thank everyone joining us today. here for this historic final table, over 23 million in the prize pool. Going to give a $100 ticket away for the audience, 100 or 200. I'm going to decide depending. We're going to give you guys a couple players that you get to sweat, and if they win, we'll give away 2 tickets. If it's a player that is not the ones you guys have to sweat, it'll be a $100 ticket. But go ahead, Jeremy, choose red or black, and we'll do our snake draft. Get going here.
Let's go black.
All right, so you got black next flop. We'll see who gets first. And want to, again, welcome everyone. Let us know where you're watching from. Please hit that like button. It helps us a lot if you're enjoying the show. And if you're going to participate, we'll do a keyword at the end of the stream. And to participate, you got to hit the thumbs up button and drop that word. But here we go. We got a real hand, Jeremy.
Ace King. And unfortunately, there's not much behind him. Timothy is 11 big blinds. I don't think he'll be able to do anything with this, with the ace 9 off though. 7-10 suited. You see a lot of people peel there, but you know, ICM implications. He's playing the tide is right strategy.
Well, he ate his Wheaties game today. He got some nice deal starting hands, and here an interesting decision, right? You might say, oh, are you supposed to min raise? Do you have min raises off this stack? What do you like here? A jam, or do you just think it's the automatic min raise?
Min raise, definitely. 13 big blinds. I definitely have a min raise range there for sure. Let's see if maybe this chip leader might do something with an ace here. He's thinking a little bit. I mean, it's definitely a pretty loose 3-bet, but there is a lot of ICM pressure here. With well, you know, Jordan does have one of the shorter stacks, so I don't think there is a ton of ICM pressure here. That being said, an ace is a pretty good hand to just come after him.
Yeah, well, he did just that, and of course going to get met with the all in. So nicely executed from Jordan to get some extra chips. Does find a candidate for a light 3-bet and a fold, so he didn't have to run the equities there against an all in with that overcard. So nice start for Jordan. He's going to chip up. He's got almost 20 big blinds now. Timothy on the short stack, and 9-handed poker. I think we're not really used to that anymore, right? Basically always playing 8-handed these days, which is lucky. 9-handed poker got to be a little tighter, and of course ICM so high. What do you think Jordan would have as some bluffs there, though, like other than like his top of his range? Because he's going to shove off that stack size some hands, and he's going to min raise. Give me an example of a hand you may want to min raise fold.
I think like ace 10 offsuit is kind of a quintessential, not good enough to shove that many blinds in early position at a final table. One thing to note, the ante is quite large here. It's bigger than the big blind, and that's going to change. So, you know, ranges should loosen a little bit. And then later when it's 4-handed, the ante is going to be much smaller. Ranges should tighten a little bit. So some people don't pay much attention to that. I think it's a factor for sure. But yeah, something like ace 10 offsuit makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And I think Eric 3-betting right away with that holding, as we see a pretty aggressive 3-bet shove there with a 9-10 suited.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
But Eric 3-betting the ace 3 offsuit, it's definitely not a mandatory 3-bet. I think it says a lot about kind of how his approach is going to be. He has the big stack. He knows he has the big stack, and I think he's going to obviously put a fair amount of pressure on people. And look at this. He's got the queen 5-0 in the low jack, just raising it up. So he's definitely trying to use that big stack and bully some people, and unfortunately he's running into kings when he tries to do it, so it's not going to be a profitable situation there.
Yeah, some interesting hands. Interesting to note, Jordan Sperling did fold ace jack off under the gun last hand, which again, I think that's probably right. That's just maybe ace jack suited, you know, ace queen he's going to open, but ace jack off just kind of on that cusp, and his stack's so vulnerable, so he gives it up. Another player opens ace jack and then gets shoved on by Kanapong, who actually the name sounds familiar all of a sudden after that aggressive, nice maneuver. But yeah, this is, we're seeing some action. Looks like guys are going for it. We're not seeing super tight play by any means. So it should be a very exciting final table. And have we seen a flop yet? We got to get you red or black flop.
We have not. I don't think we've seen a flop since we did that. This is going to be a raise and take it also.
Yeah, this is I think our answer's in though. Eric is going to be taking some. He's going to be going for it. He's going to be pushing it. He's going to take some spots, and this will see if we can get some blood early. So far, the hands really haven't lined up. And here's a fives where likely again you could see a player shove. Min raising doesn't seem that appetizing off that stack to get pressure. But you also, do you want to shove, right? Are you really going to risk going out right there with fives?
Right.
That's a close one to me. What do you like there?
Yeah, because there are two shorter stacks than you. So, just for chips, chip EV, it's fine to shove. It's a profitable shove. I'm not convinced it's the best play at a final table with these big pay jumps when there's two stacks shorter than you. If you're the shortest stack, I could get behind it a lot more. But so we've seen Jordan fold the fives in the cutoff, ace jack offsuit under the gun. So he's definitely the ICM implications are having an effect on him, which they should. So he's one guy who it's affecting, and we'll see how, if it affects many others than him. But he's definitely tightened up in some spots that some players would have played those hands for sure.
Well, the interesting spot here with 5-6 suited and does defend. Can't blame him. You saw him pause for a little because kind of realizing the stack is very short. Is the implied odds there? But hey, he flops bottom two pair, and Jordan is in a world of hurt. There is really no path away from getting there. I think right on the 5-6-9 two spade board, it's going to be really hard. And look at the lead out from Eric. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Considering ICM things, Jordan should be tighter than normal, so he hits this flop less hard than he normally would.
Wow.
So, ooh.
Wow. Oh my, wow. The interesting part though is like, all right, you get called by maybe ace king or some spade draws. You now have, you're blocking full houses, you get counterfeited, you realize you're losing to any pair, sevens plus, right? So this is an interesting card if Eric isn't going to like it, but could he still put the gas on here? And he does.
Exactly. I think he just assumes he will have the best hand a fair amount. Jordan didn't raise the flop, which, with an overpair, I think a lot of people are just going to raise the flop and get it in. And he chose not to. And now he gets called again. So the 6-5, when the spades get there, can't be very confident they have the best hand at all. I mean, Jordan surely could have like an ace high type of hand, pill two streets, but I think most of the time Eric is just going to lose this pot against Jordan's range. Yeah, and
wow.
He does.
Wow.
Check,
Jordan's
and Jordan
happily check back.
Yeah,
there.
happily
Whoa.
checked it back.
Wow. Actually, kind of crazy, right? Because the conventional line, I would think maybe is Eric would check raise there, and Jordan on that board, would he bet with the I think the 9 high 2 spade. The board's fairly connected, but maybe that could have got in, right? That could have been a check raise, get in. And instead, as played though, Jordan kind of got unlucky in a way, but lucky too at the same time. What do you think would have happened if he had checked? Do you think Jordan is 100% betting there, or does he have some checkbacks
on the flop?
Yeah.
I think you can go either way with it. It's a board that you shouldn't be c-betting just blindly, for sure. So, you want to mix in, it just hits the big blinds range much harder than yours. That being said, you want to mix in some bets with a strong hand. So I don't know. It would have been interesting to see what he would have done. And if he did get raised, if he just would have shipped it on the flop, probably would be the standard play, but he might be trying to play a little safer at this final table. But there's so many bad cards that can come. It's hard to just, you are in position. He didn't have a spade in his hand. By the way, I won the red black. I got black.
Okay. Fair enough. We got a lot of viewers in the audience to confirm that. I didn't see it, but I trust you, and you can go ahead and start off with the first pick. And then I get two. It's actually I like going second sometimes. The double is nice.
So I get one, you get two, then I get two. Here, okay. So how does this work? Whoever just wins, whoever picks the winner wins?
Yeah. Oh, you're saying like, could you choose to go second?
No. I'll go first. That's fine. But I think I'm gonna pick this Eric guy's playing to win, but this Samuel guy,
Look at that ace-5 off 3-bet. Risk premium high, one of the short stacks. That's I gotta say, the pace is fast. This is definitely
For
like
sure.
I'm a little bit like, wow, there's some definite like close spots that have just been automatically going for it. And this is a huge prize pool, guys. Again, I see some people in the chat asking about Super Millions. There will be no Super Millions today. Jeremy was going to be a guest coming up, but look, this is the show. This is the highlight event of the year online. You're here witnessing it. And Jeremy Austin is 5-time World Series of Bracelet Poker winner. I want to say November 9. It was October 9. They call it the final table of the main event in 2012. So, great to have Jeremy here. Definitely over 12 million in results, leading the Poker Masters currently series going on with a win and first in the leaderboard. So Jeremy knows his stuff. He'll be giving us a lot of insight into play today as well. So we do appreciate him again joining, and thank you guys for watching at home. But you got a tough decision here, Jeremy.
Madsen, he's playing to win. I'm going to go with this Eric Madsen guy.
Nice. I like that. I respect that choice, and it's very close. I'm very happy to take Samuel. I'll also take Kanapong. I love the kind of have to, right? There's really no other choice, but I like that 9-10 suited shove. He came in like ready to tango. So I'm feeling good with my two.
Your 2-3 picks this was a good spot for the 2-3 picks because they're the clear number 2 and 3s out in front by a lot. So do I get 2 now?
Yes.
Okay. I guess we should wait till his hand's over. Or should I just do it in the middle of the hand?
You can do it whenever you want. But this is actually, this guy is also, he's going to step into it here. But look at the heart. I mean, he's just went for 2 3-bets in a row.
Yeah.
Both fairly light. The ace-9 suited feels close, right? It's sort of like could flat, but you also could just fold in this spot ICM wise. I gotta say, we're going to see collisions today. You just know it. These guys are playing.
Yeah. I think we might not see a lot of players aren't flatting a lot with sub 20 big blind stacks with ICM implications. So that might be the reason for his he might just be playing a strict fold or 3-bet strategy there in the cutoff. I wouldn't be surprised. So I think that's what was going on there. And if he needs a couple pips higher to call, probably ace queen suited. I will pick Jordan, and let's go with I'll go with Yanfi Chi. I'm sure I completely butchered that name.
All right. That's good. I'll take then. Do I get 2 or 1? So what do I have? I have 2. I get 2 more, and then you get 1 more, and then we'll give 1 to the audience for a bonus $100 ticket today. I get 2, right?
I don't know. Hey, this is your show, your rules. Okay, so who's left? Oliver
and
Timothy.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take Oliver. I won't want to be Timothy with those big sacks to his left.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you Timothy. Just give you a 4-5. You were you won the first pick. You're late registering the Poker Masters live today as the leader of the overall series. Jacket putting a little bit of EV for the fans for the stream here. So we appreciate that. And now, everyone in the chat, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you guys a few people. I'll let Jeremy choose one. I'll choose one, and then you guys are going to get the last play stack as well. So you'll get the miracle spin. Timothy will see if he can do it from the back, and then I'm going to give you the chip leader as well. I'm going to give you Eric Madsen. If he were to win, there's going to be a $100 bonus ticket awarded. There'll be at least one $100 GG tournament dollars awarded. We'll see if we'll do another one, but give you Eric, and you can choose one for them as well, Jeremy, that they get to sweat. So they'll have 3 players of the 9 for a bonus $100 giveaway.
Okay.
For the audience, who do you want to give them?
So you picked Eric.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pick Samuel.
All right. So
I'm
you guys
picking
got
2.
No, that's it. We're giving them the number 1 and 2 stacks, and also the 9th place stack. If one of those guys win, there's going to be $200 in tickets awarded, but a guaranteed $100 tickets awarded. To enter, hit the thumbs up. Keyword will be coming later in the show. And again, this is it. There's nothing bigger. This is what you play for. If you're playing online poker, you got the main event, 5K buy-in, as you mentioned, a lot of satellite options, and you're playing for $2.7 million. Pretty crazy. What's your biggest ROI, Jeremy? So was it the main event where you took 2 million from 10K? Is that like your best Best
Yes,
ROI tournament.
2.15 in 2012, but my biggest for sure. Yep, that was a sweet one.
And looking back, was there anything you would have done preparation wise that you think could have been differently? Did you go? How did you go out? Was it a flip? Was it close? What was? How was that tournament ended for you?
Oh, in disasterly fashion, we might see an all in here with this ace eight offsuit. What do you think? He has he has five big blinds, kind of a close spot. He's the shortest stack by a lot. And he's got an ace. He thought about it for a minute there. I wouldn't have been shocked to see him go all in there.
The reason I would have liked it is because the player that's raising, this is the guy that we know can open pretty wide in this spot, right? If it was Jordan or Fang, I think I would probably, I mean, even though Fang, it's like it's on the button, right? Maybe you could argue as well. But I think I would like to see the shove there, although it's easier said than done, right? He may, with how short his stack is, says, hey, I'm trying to ladder even one more spot. Maybe there's a cooler, maybe Oliver has to go, but that's kind of the one guy that's in the danger zone with him is Oliver. But we'll see if Timothy can ladder up or get a double.
Might sit here. Well, this king 10 might open, and surely the fours would shove. Oh, the king 10 folds. So, he's playing it pretty tight to the vest too, but the four is mandatory. Got to get all in here.
He's got 4.4 million basically. Is it a sign? 4.35. There's let's see, is Eric for the 3.3 blinds, 9-10 off. I mean, you got to imagine there's an extra 1.6, or actually, wow, there's a lot of money in there. Maybe Jeremy, listen, I'm a semi-retired, like I'm not a tournament GTO wizard. That feels like a call. Is it almost like he wants to keep the stack short or no, right? Not in that spot. I mean, that can't really be, because there is a 7 million stack and this guy now is 7 million. I don't see, like, to me, that feels like a call. The guy's chip leader, it's 3 blinds.
So yeah, I mean, non-ICM, it's definitely a call without a doubt. Considering ICM, yeah, it might benefit him to keep a shorter stack around. I think most players would call there. I get why he folded. I mean, Timothy shouldn't have as wide of a range as he normally would if they're just in the middle of the tournament, something like that. But I thought it's not a lot more. He's getting a good price. And the ante's big.
Yeah, like there was an extra one. I mean, he had $1 million out. There's $1 million in the middle, and 1.125 in the middle, and the 500 big blind. I mean, he was calling like, was it 3 million to win? Whatever, right? 7. I mean, it seems like a great price. Like, also the guy's gonna have weak aces. He's gonna have
for sure.
He's gonna not be dominated a lot of the time. He could even have 6s, 7s, whatever, 4s, and he's actually flipping. I'm just. Again, that's and then we see him playing. This guy's not like playing passively, so like that even shocks me more.
For sure, he's not looking to call it off, and he might be really putting a lot of emphasis on keeping a shorter stack around because he can do things like this. Whereas if he calls and doubles him up or busts him, this play has less merit because there's just more ICM pressure on these two now. That with a 7 big blind stack and 2 7 big blind stacks. Puts a lot of pressure. This ace 8 hates kind of calling this off here.
Wow. Wow. He picked the wrong guy. Jack 5, ace 8. And look at this. It is in the lead to the river. And just like that, we could lose a player. This is a huge moment for everyone at the table, including Timothy. And it is an ace on the river.
Wow.
Are you serious? I mean, talk about a moment. 25 mil. I mean, look, you could play poker for a long time. I see it like chip wise, that's got to be the biggest pot of this guy's life, right? That is a huge pot. Yeah. He is now all of a sudden massive. 25 million. He's in 4th place for 1.178 versus that could be an $800,000 difference or more for that run out. And Timothy had to be puckered up. And as you said, how big a difference does that make when there was the 7 and 7 versus just 7 million chip stack? Because you saw does it add that much more to the power of short stacks? Like I haven't really thought about it that with the two short.
I think so. Imagine an extreme example if there was 5 7 big blind stacks. A couple of them are gonna bust for sure soon. So if there's none, there's not a lot of pressure. If there's 2, there's more. The more there are, the more pressure there is. So Yeah, it's not an easy call, and the EV of that pot is massive. EV, these flips at final tables are just enormous. The dollar amounts that you're flipping for is just insane. And this one specifically, when there's the top four spots are getting seven figures or more, it's just massive, massive flips, hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity in all of these pots.
Yeah, that's crazy. Um, yeah,
So
that was a wild hand.
this is interesting. We saw Feng Zhao fold King 10 off in the cutoff earlier, and now he's raising threes, UTG8, which is quite loose. So maybe he thinks he's going to get more a little more credit if he's raising an early position, possibly.
Look at this guy. Pong, man. I want to be this guy. I want his game. He's ripping the 9-10 suited out of the big. He's flatting aces, and now he's got threes on betting. And if you think about it, it's a very safe board. There's not many eights that this player's raising from this position. This is actually, it may appear like, and then he just gives the call again. Look at, man.
And he's got the ace of spades. That helps to just call. You're worried about, you don't need to protect as much. And having two aces in your hand, you block the ace-8 suiteds. So you just have the best hand so often here. This is a bit of an unorthodox play for sure. I guess he just doesn't want him to check back some marginal hands. He just wants to get the value.
No, I like it, right? Yeah. What if he has jacks, queens, or kings somehow here? Or what if he has I guess there's not a lot of spade draw combos, right? That's opening like queen, king of spades. You said he blocks the ace of spades, but what exactly a hand like this? Threes would probably check back, right? Don't you think? I mean,
yeah, they might not, but this was the perfect bet against threes, right? Because they might check back, and you're charging him kind of just the perfect amount where he kind of just has to call. Threes probably on this river are going to be able to get away. It will depend on the sizing. And
I like the size.
It makes it kind of enticing. Bluffs would be, straight draws, queen, jack, jack 9, 7, 9 that didn't raise the flop. Definitely unorthodox to check call flop and then lead turn. Not very typical. Maybe, when you're just playing for chips for sure. And Feng does get off it there.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with Feng on the river there, it definitely could be enticing to call. I think more weighted towards straight draws that miss than the flushes there, because I think a lot of flush draws you would see the pressure put on, right? I think Pong would probably check raise a lot of flush draws there and just put the guy to the test. I think
on the flop.
Yeah, like just with the stack sizes and the dynamic, but maybe not. Maybe he would just flat and I guess it depends on, again, these players have probably played decent with each other. And once you get down to 2-3 tables of a tournament of this magnitude, people kind of have the tables up. They're watching, they're checking out what's going on online. So maybe these players have a bit of familiarity with each other. And as we see a couple, the stacks get shorter, and Istvan has really put himself in a good position. This is a tough spot for Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take a card off at least. He feels good about that. Maybe see some leads here. The 8 hits his range much more than Samuel's. Just kind of like in the last hand, the big blind just has the 8s and the other guy doesn't. The queen 8 suited, pretty loose, but he does have the chip lead now, so I think it's fine probably. So his hand's very disguised. He just does not have very many 8s, king 8 suited, maybe some queen 8 suited, and then some ace 8s.
Yeah, the question here is though, like, that's the problem, right? So Sam's like, wow, how did this happen? I have an 8 here, but what can I do? What would I like? He should have more 8s. What am I representing? How much am I betting? And this is an interesting sizing, what he goes for half pot.
Yeah, I think it's the standard size he should have here. The range, this board favors the big blind a lot, so Samuel can't really put in a ton of money. That being said, he still wants to bet some overpairs. Nines, tens, jacks, queens, just for protection, because Jordan will just have flush draws, straight draws, ace high type of hands like that. So it's not crazy. Just it's not like a spot where you want to just pure check, obviously, but and he's just getting in the check raise. I like it. I like the size. You definitely just want to go very small target, just like overcards and flush draws, things like this. Ace high, maybe if they did that.
Well, surely Sam's going to call. I mean, obviously he's got they have the nuts and the quad sixes, but the interesting part is there is still card on the river. There are a 7 or a queen could flop this hand onto a massive pot, but as it plays, it will be a chop. And look at the chess clocks. Everyone using a little time. You're kind of in a dream spot, and now the river comes in 22 million, and Jordan is, as we know it, will be chopping. But this was a pretty. I mean, Jordan's gotten some very favorable situations so far. He's gotten some big hands. He's gotten played back at, got to take it down. He had the chop here. I think there was another, the one where he could have been out easily, where he had kings versus the flop 2 pair that he ended up getting to win as well. So he's got
he's been Jordan, in there.
Yeah, he's got his money's worth today so far. Had some nice situations, and he's chipped up. He's got 20 blinds. We do see the blinds are up, Jeremy. 500,000, 1 million. That is a good sign. Anytime you're in the 500K, 1 million level, that means you're doing something right. You're deep in a tournament, and here we go. A couple more suited aces getting distributed here, and tough spot. Oliver now. I mean, again, he's early position against chip leader, no fold equity. Gonna have to fold, imagine. But this is now him and Timothy are sort of jockeying for that critical short situation.
Yeah, some people might put in the 5 big blinds, probably a little weak here. Although Samuel did just show down the queen 8 suited, so it's not like he's got a too tight of a range even in early position. Also, Timothy's got to take the big blind the next hand. He does just decide to put it in. I mean, I get it, suited ace, but 0 fold equity, which is never fun. Interesting spot here with ace queen suited. I don't think you can fold. It clicks it back. I like this a lot.
All right, well, here we go. Ace queen suited versus ace 3 suited. Interesting to note the ace 4 of spades was folded. As it stands, ace 3 clubs got a lot of real estate. Look at that. Ooh, man, I don't know.
Some exciting runouts.
Yeah, this is everything is everyone's in. All 9 are still in. This is a wild start to this FT, but wow. This has been wild.
Big double. And so Jordan here on the button just has a 12 big blind stack and a 6 big blind stack. So I think he will play a fair amount of shoves here. Yeah, you asked me about my final table years ago, 2012. Things were different then. You asked about my preparation, things like that. I didn't prepare very much. I had a baby 5 weeks early, so he was in the baby hospital for 3.5 weeks or something like that. So I played the least, because when I made it, you made the final table, then you have a break for like 2 months. I played the least amount of poker I've ever played in those in my whole career for those few months. So this is a very light defend, and he defended earlier with a pretty bad hand. I can't remember exactly what it was. Something that some people would have folded 10-9 off maybe. So we're seeing that Samuel is definitely going for it. At a final table, some people might fold this. He does have the big stack, and he is an accomplished player. So he probably assumes he can put a lot of pressure on him post flop, and probably play better than him post flop. So he's just going to get in there and go for it.
Yeah. Nice. Wow. Interesting. Not going to work in the moment, right? Ace queen suited, of course, got drawn to the nuts in a very affordable price, does call. And now it's interesting. This is the fun part about Hold'em. Hard to make a hand, hard to make a pair. No player has a pair. and no one has a made hand here, but got the hearts come in. It's a curious one, right? What does Samuel do here? If he's representing 8-9, now that's no longer the nuts. What would he do if he had 8-9? What does he do with 2 pairs here? And he has basically the worst hand he could have. He does bet small, and look at that
Very
sizing,
small.
Jeremy. I mean,
so
interesting. Very interesting.
Yes. He might do this with a hand like a pair of 7s, a pair of 6s to try to target a hand just like this, ace high, or maybe, king, jack of clubs, things like this. Getting a good price, it's kind of hard to fold, if it does kind of suck to have that queen of clubs in your hand. I mean, you don't have a heart in your hand. Samuel sometimes will just have a flush too, and you should mix in your stronger hands here.
Wow. Interesting. Like, I think almost anything more than that would have worked, right? It does look exactly like a weak blocker hand. You're almost sure you're never good. There's really not much you beat there, but well played, nice call. And I think, it could have worked too, right? It could just be one of those
Sure.
Like, I don't want to put it in. Like, how could I be good? He check raised, or bet, the putting pressure on the turn, and now he's betting again in the river. But nice hand from Eric, and I like that. That was a high level hand all around. So here we go, blind on blind. The 2 chip leaders are squaring off.
Yeah, that was I think in that particular hand, and we see the raise with the isolated raise with the 10-3 offsuit. That particular hand, I think the only thing that's going to get to fold is like some king highs. I mean, the ace high did think about it. That was interesting. I think more typical, you'll see a 3rd pot or something like that, or a little bigger bet, which probably would have worked, but.
Yeah, maybe not. Anyway, exciting hands, and we are still 9-handed. That's also crazy because we've been going for a while now, and the blinds have gone up. There's some really short stacks, and again, I think this is there's some play. There's definitely some play. Some of the big stacks have chips, but some really short stacks. So this could go very quickly. It also could end up going for a while. That's the beautiful thing about tournaments. You never know. It does say, I think all around, we'd say that this table is going for it, Jeremy. These guys aren't sitting back playing nut peddling poker by any means.
No, not at all. Most guys are definitely in there. I don't think we've seen many hands out of Oliver. Oh, the ace three suited, yeah, where he doubled. But yeah, most of these guys have shown that they're ready to play for sure, which is not easy to do. Pay jumps are huge. It's life-changing money probably for most of the people. So it's not easy to just get out there and fire like that.
Yeah, it is exciting for sure. This is there's aces again. That's also exciting. Second time Pong has been dealt aces, and Jordan under the gun +1. A lot of players left. He's got a very vulnerable stack. I think this is one of those times where you could just find a fold, right? I mean, where the flatting doesn't feel right, 3-betting doesn't seem right. It's under the gun. Pong's aggressive, but at the same time, right? It's just the risk reward doesn't seem there. I like that fold.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been surprised to see a 3-bet fold, just like a 2.5x 3-bet and then fold to a shove. I don't think you can just shove. You can't call, I don't think. So I think it's fine. But I think a lot of players, I would probably lean towards like a 3-bet fold, but it is a tight range. It's under the gun opening. You're next. You have everyone behind you. You 3-bet, you're kind of priced in against a couple of guys. That's never fun because their range is super tight if they do shove. And here we see so earlier we saw Jordan do the min 3-bet with the kings, I believe, right? And here we see Fang's approach different. He's just gonna make a very large raise, basically a shove.
Yeah, well, we're off to the races. Quite an action flop. Ace, queen of hearts, turn clean, has that king of hearts blocker. 3-1 favorite, 75% to the river. Can it be it's a lot of praying going on, and it is a base card, which is safe, non-heart, jack of clubs on the river.
Ooh.
And Fang is gonna double up, and that is a relief to everyone in the tournament, because other than Timothy, who's going to get 279,000 amazing efforts, and look at that, he has now gone out, and can't blame him, right? Pretty premium holding off that stack size, and
For sure.
nice timing for Fang there.
Yep, nothing he can do. Ace queen suited. So nice when you're at a final table and people bust and you just print money. You know, it's very, can be very tedious, very annoying when all the short stacks just keep doubling and doubling forever and ever. And you just look over at the payouts, and those are frustrating times at final tables, but sometimes they just fly out of there and you just make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But so far they've been surviving.
I gotta say, Eastbahn, that ace 8 suited, or ace 8 of clubs that he put in versus Jack 5, that was an insane hand. What I mean, ICM can't be a call, right? That he's saying I want to play to win. Like, that is, Eric had everyone in the bin there. He had threes he was going to get to fold, certainly in the big blind, and the ace 8 suited. Like, what do you think there? I mean, that's got to be close, but at the same time, like, this isn't the Super Tuesday or a daily. Like, this is a big spot.
I know. But the thing is, I mean, I get, the pay jumps are huge, but ideally the way you look at it is if it's just another tournament, right? If you're going to play correctly, then you just want to treat it as another tournament. And ace 8 suited's very far ahead of his range, and the pay jumps are huge, but when there's the early pay jumps are much smaller than the later pay jumps, right? So the ICM pressure is less so when there's 9 left than it is when there's 4 left. The pay jumps are huge when there's 4 left. You know, it would be a $400,000 jump compared to a $100,000 jump. So that's a big difference. But I wouldn't have been surprised to see him fold it either. I'm not saying it was a great play or it's a mandatory get in. It's a close spot. There's so many of these, and no one really has all the answers in these spots, honestly, with ICM and everything. But once you see Madsen shove a hand like that, it's hard to fold a hand like ace 8 suited. now going forward, how capable he is of doing things like that. Yes, there's ICM implications, but there's also a spot where you can just start winning a lot of chips, and you have position on him, and you can just pick up more and more later, and maybe find yourself in the chip lead later. And there's a lot of value in that. Yeah,
the future implied odds there pretty big on what is available. And look at this, Sam putting Eric in the cage here. May have to cut his losses, but you also couldn't blame him for sticking on here on this board. Ace queen in a absolute hammer lock on the hand if he were to call. And this is kind of one of those ones where in the moment you may say, hey, like, I want to jockey for position, but it just feels like you got to sometimes release, but he does not. And now Sam has got a 15 million chip pot coming his way. Certainly, I don't see a scenario where Eric gets aggressive and he's got a very strong hand and improves to a straight, although didn't need the straight.
Yeah, this was limp check pre, and then I think Sam bet the flop and then potted the turn, I believe. Half pot. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I think Eric kind of has to continue on the turn, double flush draw. It's not a great spot, but if you're folding, like, you're just folding so many hands. I think I would have called the turn. Now the river is like pretty bad spot, because what can Sam be bluffing here, right? Like low missed hearts, low missed spades, things like that. And Eric doesn't interact with those, so it's potentially a decent bluff catcher. It is a lot better to have another pair and block some of the full house outs, though. If you have king jack or king 10 or an ace, he's going to just have an ace a fair amount too. That's a better hand to call with for sure. Yeah, this is just kind of right in that middle area, tough kind of area.
Yeah. The interesting part, I mean, he has no hearts. It is blind on blind, right? You start thinking about some low cards, some low heart bluffs. And I actually, based on how Eric plays, I think he's going to talk himself into a call. But this is a critical pot for a position. Nice fold. Nice one.
Wow.
I think in the moment, the answer should be just fold, right? It's just like not, we still have the chip lead. It's not really worth it. Is how often is Sam going to step out and really put those chips at risk with the air ball there in that situation? But of course, Samuel's a super capable player. So maybe it is enough. There are enough bluffs there. So kudos to him for making the right play in the moment, making the correct decision and getting a fold there. Still does retain the chip lead there, 77 million, also on the direct left of Sam. So still a nice spot for Eric.
Yeah, you're right. It does allow him to keep the chip lead. There's something to be said for that, for sure. And here we see Samuel again getting after it, 10-7 off, just really trying to put the max pressure on. And we see Isvan again. He did this earlier out of the small blind with ace-3, I believe, also ace-3 offsuit. And he's doing it again. And I imagine Samuel is just going to fold.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, this guy, if he gets a hold of, call it another, gets up to 35, 40 mil. I mean, he's already in decent position with 20 plus, but he's definitely capable, and he's going to give, I think, some problems. And I like his seat, right? He's on the left of Eric and Sam, who have the chip. So he's kind of got a lot of things working for him. Kanapong been playing very well, and he's going to find himself with a favorable position here, ace king, and you see no interlopers behind, right? This is going to be heads up, ace king to ace jack suited. Oliver, who has chipped up a bit now, at risk and going to need some help if he's going to stay in the tournament. We could easily be down to 7 here, as we see guaranteed 372 for the players, but Samuel disconnecting. He's got a minute of disconnect. You got to believe he's, as an online household name, he's got to have good internet. Maybe there's some weather issues, maybe something going on, but you want to be in a secure place when you're playing for 2.7 up top, Jeremy. I don't know. I'm sure he's got the best setup, best equipment, best internet provider and all that. So hope he's back, because not a good time to check out from connectivity.
Yeah, luckily this hand he has nothing, so it doesn't affect him, but not fun to be disconnecting at the biggest final table of your life.
No. And ace king, ace jack. So a pretty good start for Kanapong. As you see, chop outs though, needs a jack or a heart for a chop. It could be it feels, paint. No way. No.
Oh,
stop it. Just stop. Jeremy, honestly, this is too much today, man. That is running cold. Not everyone wanted to say it. My man, look at Eastbound. He's saying what everyone's saying. That is running cold, because we're talking about everyone will be guaranteed 496, and Kanapong, the chips would have consolidated. So that is a wild turn of events for everyone involved. Everybody. That is a big moment.
That hurts. That really hurts. Some exciting runouts we've had today. I don't know if this is typical, but there's been some fun ones, depending on what seat you're in.
Was that a sorry? Oliver James just open folded king 3 suited, small blind, big blind there. Versus Kanapong. Did you see that?
Versus Kanapong. Kanapong opened under the gun.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did he open? That's what it was. Wait, why? Okay, yes, I'm sorry. He opened. You're right. I was just gonna say, wow, that is, but he still folded. That's, I can't say that's like an insane fold by any means, of course, but it's he's closing the action, king 3 suited, and here he goes. Kanapong. Is he on tilt? Is he just playing his hand? He is going for a small 3-bet here with king 5 suited. Wow.
Yeah, and we are about 20 bigs deep. Yeah, aggressive play for sure. Some people might peel the 10-8 suited final table. It's not as good to do things like that, but if it's not the final table, it's fine. But I wouldn't have been surprised to see him call.
Yeah, that is I'm excited. Every hand's been exciting. Literally every hand that there's been like a close decision or spot. And look at this. Did Samuel reconnect and get back off?
Yeah. And look at his chess clock is down to nothing, basically. That's rough. That is no good.
I think that's his disconnect clock.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, that's
yeah. We haven't waited that long. By the way, the chess clock is awesome. Love it. I really would like to see this transition over to live poker. Much harder to pull off, obviously, and we do the time chips now and the shot clocks in live poker, and it's great. But the chess clock is really the ultimate solution if someone can figure out how to pull it off.
Yeah.
It's a kind of complicated situation. Someone needs to make an app or something. There we go. 20 big blind jam with nines. Against a very wide range, we know, as we've seen.
Yep. Well, some ladies dealt in the big blind. Eric with the ace-7 off, definitely a contender. Either way, Feng should get some action if it somehow were to fold around to him, or if I gotta believe Eric's gonna be
I think so too.
Yeah, with the stacks behind and the situation. Although Kanapong has been a bit pesky on, he's on the button, and I think we'll still see the open though. Yeah, and this is a little bit intense for Sam. Let's see what happens here. He's gonna be disconnected, and I think he'll be dealt out for the time being. He's in the big blind next hand as well, and he did regain connection. So hopefully he's back, and let's see what Eric comes up with here. Goes for the min raise, and Fang gonna get a very, very nice spot to be able to take it down and no contention with a lot of money in the middle, most likely, right? 14 million, too much to call ace-7 off, gonna be dominated.
I think so.
Time. It's just not quite good enough, most likely. We do see the fold. All right, well, good news for Fang. And again, we are still 8-handed. A lot of excitement, lots of all-in action and some dramatic runouts. And here we go with Yan Fei has got a decision here from Eric, who is essentially the chip leader, and 8-handed, middle position, early middle position, nines. Tough one.
Yeah,
Don't envy the spot.
I think Eric's gonna get jammed on for the third time. Oh, he folds the nines. That's a big fold. I think he's got to stick that one in. I mean, you've got the chip leader opening, who's opening tons. You are the shortest stack. His position, is troublesome with all the guys behind him, but I'm not folding the nines there. But he might have something he wants to buy for 496,000. 372 is just not going to cut it, right? So guy's got to do what he's got to do.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'll tell you what's not tough is 8s on the button folded too, but wow, bang, in the muck, Jeremy. There's some
wow. That's a big fold. That's too, both these hands are too big of folds in my opinion.
The 8 seems a wild. There's 2 guys behind, no action in front of you, and you got like a 15 blind just queue up. Big pickup there. But again, now we're looking at it, there's 3 guys really jumbled here, right? If you go out 8th, 7th, or 6th, big difference in money. But at some point you're gonna get eaten up. The blinds are big, the ante is big, and you can't wait around forever. So we'll see how that plays out. But those are hands to note. If you're watching at home, again, this is what do we had almost 5,000 entries, is that right? I think 4,900 is if I'm not mistaken. There was $23 million prize pool, 23 million plus in the purse, and 500 places paid. So these guys are doing something right for sure. A little bit of run good, a little bit of play good, and at the end you just can't tell someone how to play, right? They're going to do what they want.
Sure,
they're going to deviate from the book. They're going to have their own reasons for things, but those are definitely snug folds, no doubt. And I don't think he would have got called, but interesting to note, King 10 suited does make the nuts. He wouldn't have got called for a shove by King 10 suited.
Yeah.
But
and one thing to note too, this is China, yeah? Forgive my...
It could be, I believe it is the Chinese flag. It could be Hong, I think it is China flag, yeah, I believe.
Okay, I could be way off, but they're from the same region. We can say that with certainty. Yeah. And perhaps in that region, they teach a little tighter poker there, because they both have made some pretty big folds. I mean, the 9s and then the 8s. So I don't know if anyone else at this table would have folded those. We've seen Oliver play probably tight too, compared to anyone else. He's played fairly tight, but these 2 guys are definitely playing on the tighter side. I think the pay jumps they're really considering those, and it's affecting their decisions a little bit, and it should, but I think it's gone a little too far, in my opinion.
Yeah, 4,000 plus watch right now here on the YouTube channel. Really do appreciate you guys. Let us know where you're watching from in the world. Let us know if you're rooting for someone in particular. We are enjoying the action again. Jeff Gross alongside Jeremy Osmus calling the action. Jeremy is a 5-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner. Actually, have you got the one in the mail from, what was it, a week ago, 2 weeks ago? You just won another online World Series bracelet. Is it right here?
Funny you ask. I have it sitting right next to me.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. A real life one right there. I love it. Beautiful.
We didn't plan that either. I just brought it up here the other day. I just got it a couple days ago, and yep.
How you got enough for every kid, every member of the family? Are you handing them out like Helmuth, or you just passed them out like is it for trick or treat this year? Are you giving those away at the door?
I'm not.
How many do you have? No,
I'm not the nice guy giving guy that Helmuth is. You know, I'm keeping them for myself. No, I've considered giving them to, you know, maybe sisters, mom, parents, things like that, but I haven't. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess right. The more you get, the easier it gets. Well, look at this. We are going to be taking a break. This is a 5-minute break, and Jeremy Osmus and myself will be calling the action when we get back. So enjoy your break. We'll see you in a few. right into it. We are here, and you can see the payouts on the screen. It is a big one. There is a lot to play for. 8 players remain. 372,000 is guaranteed, and we are going to be seeing a lot of high intensity action. That's just what it's going to be. I can already tell you, we've seen it so far. I don't see any reason why it would slow down. The players are playing to win, and we are seeing some high level poker. And this is an interesting spot. Samuel going to open the ace deuce off, and Eric, I don't think he's going to allow that to just get through without any contesting. And of course, he does call. Think of maybe just too good to 3-bet, right, and get blown off. So he does flat. I like it. And now the 9-7 flat, 9-7-5 club board. Interesting, both players with some key clubs here, Jeremy. Let's see if Samuel goes into check the side mode, which he does. And Eric not going to love the flop, although he is still ahead of a variety of hands, as we see here.
Yeah, and Samuel continues to show that he just doesn't care about the big stack on his left, or a comparable stack on his left. He's just gonna he's shown the propensity to be quite wide defending and opening, and he just continues with a ace deuce off. Definitely not a mandatory open with a big stack to your left. I mean, without a doubt, I think most people would fold. Don't mind just taking a stab here. You're just going to get a lot of immediate folds and push some people off some equity with queen 10 type hands, things like that. And this board does favor you a little bit, I think, because a lot of your range is like these mid pairs, 9, 7s, 5s. So a large portion of your range makes a set.
Yeah, it's interesting having the ace of clubs, but then you start talking about high tech stuff. Do you really want to float or check raise and start going crazy? I mean, you do beat still some of the suited broadways and hands there, but yeah, as you mentioned, those pairs, right? You could just be going down a slippery path there, and not the time to get super creative at this juncture, and with the 1 and 2 chip leaders, right? Just sometimes just move to the next hand here. I mean, that's what we saw, and we see Fang pick up 2 ladies and take it down. Again, welcome everyone in here watching from all over the world. We appreciate you tuning in, hitting that thumbs up. We'll have a giveaway later if you hit the thumbs up and are eligible via the keyword, which we'll put in when we get down to 3 or 4 handed. We appreciate you guys watching. We'll give away some GG tournament dollars today. So far, so good, Jeremy. Very, very intense play. And I like to think of booth magic. Do you ever feel that way? Because we've had some great success from GG Super Millions where players have come in. Ben CB, our friend Sergio Ado came in and then won the Hard Rock main, 5K buy-in for 900,000 next week. Ben CB finally took second in the Super Millions the following week after commentary. Is this work for you? Is this fun for you? Is this study for you? Is this good prep for you to go and play and crush today? Well, how do you look at this? Do you like doing commentary?
I do. I used to do a fair amount with ElkY, like on Poker Go type stuff. Ideally, I wanted to be playing though, so yeah. I kind of stepped away from it because I wanted to play, but I do like to do it. And I just saw him the other day and I said, hey, let's do some more of it sometime. It just can't be during one of these series I do, right? Because I like to play those events, but I do like to do it. It's fun. And it does make me watch the poker more, which I don't watch just a lot of final tables like I should. So it's kind of a good way to study and see what people are doing while I just kind of talk about it, which is fun. And if it's lucky, then that's even better. A little icing on the cake. I didn't know that there was a lucky run good associated with this, but I'm pretty excited about that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at the same token, though, you're already crushing. You're leading the Poker Masters, and you've won an event. So it's kind of like, in a way, it's like if you were to have success again today or not, you can't take credit for that. But yeah, you're in the zone, and I got to ask you, like, what's working for you right now? To seems like you're just having so much success, and you had a long story career. But is there anything that's clicking? Is there any kind of secrets that you could share about your routine, preparation, focus? Is there anything you're doing differently, or just that's kind of going well for you?
I think I just am like a turtle, like over the years. I wasn't a guy who shot to the top and, like a Victor Blom or something like that. I've just been on a very steady rise with my knowledge of poker that hasn't really waned for years and years and years. So I think it's just a steady accumulation of knowledge and things like that, just studying a lot. I do study the solvers, things like this. So I think, just always trying to see where your weaknesses are and plug those leaks, things like that. And ICM is one of them. It's one of the tougher areas. And, as of like a year ago, I hadn't looked at near as much as just regular solver outputs. So that's an area I feel like I've improved recently quite a bit. Something else, I have some no drinking bets this month. So kind of month and a half now, I barely drink at all. I drank one beer once. So, and I'm working out, so I'm feeling good about things like that. Those are all very good for brain health, staying focused, things like that. So I think it's just kind of a combination of taking care of myself, putting in the work, and then some running good on top of it.
That can't hurt. And poor Nick Schulman, the guy, great commentator, local as well. You beat him heads up for a World Series bracelet, and then beat him heads up for the Poker Masters. What was that, within like a few day period or what?
Yeah, so we got heads up in the bracelet event on Sunday, and then the Poker Masters started Wednesday. I think our final table was Thursday, which was my birthday actually, Thursday, which I won the event, and got heads up against Nick again and beat him again. And I thought he was due, man. He's a great player. Obviously, the whole poker world loves Nick. His commentary's just unreal, great. Everyone loves him. He's just gotten so good at No Limit too. He's put a lot of work in. You can just tell. Very sharp guy. So very lucky to beat him twice. I thought he was due for that second one, but I was able to pull it out again. So hopefully I can keep it going.
Yeah, heads up's always a funny thing, right? There's like, you don't get to, it's something most people aren't practicing or doing a lot of. You might get to play a guy a few times in your life. Like, it's rare you'll play someone like 3 times ever heads up. Now, in some of the higher buy-in shorter fields, maybe that'll happen, but still it's rare, right? So you don't get a lot of opportunities. It's always nice to get it done when it comes up. But of course, a lot of variance and other things come into play there. How deep was it? We're both relatively short stacked, or was it?
Both were about 40 to 50, about 50 big blinds. I think the live one was 40, but that had a big blind ante, and the online one we started with 50 bigs, but it was a very small ante. So yeah, you're right. It's so rare to get heads up. Even if the tournament's 30 people, it's just so hard for 2 people to get heads up again, right? It just doesn't happen very much. So kind of a funny thing. Hopefully he still likes me. I don't know.
He's a great guy. I'm sure he's just fine. But yeah, this is again, as we've been talking, there's been some light 3-bets kind of upon going for it. And there is another situation here where he's got the ace-8, he's got the 8 of clubs, and he has got the lead in the hand, although it will favor some of the big blind on that 6-9-10 board. So he does go ahead and check back, maybe with the intention not to fold. And now the board pairs with the 10. So interesting spot. And here, Eric, who's been pretty aggressive, finds himself in some sort of interesting big blind defense situations out of position. Got a little unlucky with the 2-pair flop versus the kings earlier. Here he does have the best hand still, and he does get to a river, but it is not going to be a winner. And this is likely going to go check. I don't know if Kanapong is going to try to suss out some value with that ace-8. I don't know. It's a club. There's a lot going on in this board.
Yeah, it does help to have the 8 of clubs specifically. You block some straights, you block some flushes. So, and he does bet a quarter. His hand just screams he has an ace even before he bet the river, right? He checks back flop, checks back turn. You just see people do that with an ace a lot. So I see what you're saying. It is hard when your range is just so ace heavy. You're like, why would I even bet? Because they're just gonna fold. But that's why it's important to keep some non-ace hands in your range too. And then that's when you pull some bluffs out there when the ace hits, and then you're more likely to get called. And this is funny. The last several times Samuel's opened, Eric has 3-bet him or called. And he's had hands. He's had ace queen, ace jack off, ace queen to diamonds in the small blind last time, and now jacks. And Samuel's just going to have to assume that Eric's just completely messing with him every hand, because none of those have shown down. And it's just super frustrating when the guy to your left just keeps bothering you, right? And you're like, oh, he's clearly out of line. But actually, Eric's just had it. I'd be shocked to see Samuel fold or anything with this ace 10 of diamonds, given the dynamic we have going on here.
Yeah, this one seems so dicey too, though, right? Like there's so much at stake to peel there, to maybe be dominated. But I guess if he does have the ace four, the ace five, if he has some bluffs or some other hands too, he's not necessarily just going to shell it off. So I guess there's that, right? Samuel could just have the absolute best hand, but ace 10 suited sort of middle of the road. And look at jacks here. Not going to love this flop getting flatted for that range. This is definitely a board where Sam could have some king queen suited or ace queens, stuff like that.
Sure.
This is a dicey situation.
Yeah, the king high favors Eric a lot. He has all the ace kings in his range, and Samuel shouldn't have many. So it does allow him to just bet pretty liberally. But certainly Samuel has the king queen in his range and the ace queen. And I mean, like I said, from Samuel's point of view, you've been 3-bet and flatted by this guy nonstop. You've seen him shove jack 5 off. You've seen him open queen 8 suited in middle, ace. I don't know if the ace 4 was shown down, but I guess we've seen him be pretty out of line. I could never fold this ace 10 of diamonds to this guy. But we also know he just has the hands here, has had hands, but it feels like it doesn't to Samuel, is the feeling I get.
This is the dicey part though. If you're Samuel, it's kind of uncomfortable, right? Because you're sort of in no man's land. Like, yeah, he's capable of having air. He could just have the better hand. Do I need to bluff off a hand like ace jack suited, jacks, tens, block tens, block aces? It's just kind of like it's a difficult spot. I mean, he's literally could be pretty unsure here where he's at, if he has the best hand or not. Although with the check on the turn, this is interesting. He can't hate to see the check, but at the same token, more likely means there's some showdown value in there when he's getting checked too. But 27 million going Eric's way, and that is going to put him almost to the century in the millions. He's got 98,680,000. It separates himself a bit from Samuel and Kanapong, and then there's kind of everyone else. We haven't been talking about everything else, but look at this. A lot of guys sub 15, sub 20 sort of million here, getting pretty short. So this is it's a very interesting time in the tournament, and I think Eric now is going to get ready to roll. And look at this, 2 nines versus an under the gun 11 blind shove.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's not like, he just folds. Wow. It's not like this under the gun shove is very wide at all. So, and we've seen Eric twice now with some close spots where he had to call and he folded both of them. The 10-9 off in the big blind earlier versus the 4.5 big blind shove on the button. He folded, and now the nines. So he's very apt to 3-bet and open very wide, but he's not very likely to call off very wide from what I've seen. And like we alluded to earlier, he might want to keep some of these shorter sacks around, but that's not really a consideration here. I mean, and you have to think, are you ahead of anything he shoves? I wouldn't be surprised to see him shove 8s and then lots of like big cards. A little surprised by the fold with 9s.
Yeah, again, like kind of just because for him it doesn't really affect that much, right? If he loses that hand, he's still got chip lead commanding, and he could just have the best hand. But I think he has really shown that he wants to be the aggressor. He likes putting pressure.
Yes.
He likes to be the one forcing action, shoving jack 5 off or jack 8 off, whatever that. I think it was jack 5 off in a spot for risking a decent amount of chips, but not calling off. Even the 9-10 off, he's showing the propensity to did not want to call off. So very interesting game Eric's got going, but it's working. He's chip leader in the biggest tournament going this year, 2022 World Series of Poker main event, number 33 here at GGPoker, and a bracelet will be awarded as well as 2.793 million, almost $3 million going to the winner here from a 5K investment, maybe less depending with the satellite options on here. So pretty impressive stuff for everyone involved. And the chip leader though has a big opportunity here, and he has definitely got a separation with his stack. And look at this. Samuel also got a close decision here. Jack 10 suited for the price.
The price is good. The ranges are tight though. So I don't hate a fold at all. And from what we know things they don't know, but yeah, it does call. I mean, it is 7 or 8 big blinds, but we've seen Yanfei make some really big folds.
Wow. Well, pairs the queen, although this does present some additional outs. He's looking for some Broadway action, a king or a 10. It won't be. And this is Yan Fei going to double up and join his fellow countrymen there with about the same stack. They're sitting nice, right? If they drew it up, start the day, you're down to what? We've got 7. Is that? I'm sorry, no, 8. We're still 8-handed, right? We have not lost. We've lost 1 player. So we are still 8-handed, but the stacks kind of consolidate a bit more now. A lot of 22 million stacks in the middle. Jordan is the short stack, and he has got a difficult decision here. Ace 10 off, late position raise from a guy that we've seen be so aggressive 3-betting, but ace 10 would be in a world of hurt if it decides to make a stand here.
Yeah, he might be in trouble here. He does have a little fold equity, I think, even though he's got just under 10 bigs. Wow, nice flop.
I'll tell you what. I mean, Jordan's in the back of the pack right now, but like he is legitimately, he's been getting big hands. He's been getting some big boards. He got kind of in a way saved when he had kings on that 5-6. Was it 5-6-10 flop? 5-6-9, I believe it was. And then the turn was a 9 and got to show it down. But yeah, what a spot here. I mean, can you even imagine? You flat ace 10 off, you're dominated, and you flop the absolute nuts top house. And you know, if you're Espan still, it's an ace flop. You got to feel decent about this, right? You got kings, big blind defends. He's the shortest stack. His risk premium's the lowest. He doesn't necessarily have an ace. He could have 10 jack suited. He could have a lot of things here, but I'll see if he's gonna find a way to get the double, or if anyway Isfan goes and slows down and maybe decides on the river, right? Check back, see what he does.
Yeah, Jordan would have put in a fair amount of his aces pre-flop, I think. So I just don't think he has too many aces here. So Isfan feels pretty good about it. When the big blind defends under 10 bigs, oftentimes they just don't have an ace in their hand. So he gets a little value bet in on the turn too, just targeting straight draw, Broadway draws and 10x.
Wow. Well, really, really nice pot construction there.
Yeah.
You stand to bet the turn and get the check back and lose the minimum. So good news for Jordan and also for Isfan, who doesn't lose it. Look at these stacks, Jeremy. 21 million, 20 million, 22 million, 18 million, 14 million. So, I mean, there really is like kind of 3 things going on here. We got the massive chip leader, almost double second and third. You have second and third sort of right at 50. And then basically everyone else. So this is a super interesting dynamic. And let's see if Eric's going to be able to just kind of put massive pressure here and move the stacks down. Because these $20 million stacks, there's a ton to play for in that sort of third through, call it 4th through 7th or 8th right now. There's a lot of money in between there.
Yeah, and it's easy to bust. When you have 10 to 15 bigs, it's just really easy to get the stack in and bust. So that will affect the players in playing a little tighter, I think, and no one's extremely short, but so there's not extreme ISIM implications in my opinion, but it's definitely there. Seeing what I've seen out of Fang, I think this is just going to be a fold. Yeah.
Yeah, and Samuel again has a lot of experience, but does decide, look, the ace 8 off, just kind of like his stack's so valuable, not the time to tango. And here we go. Eric is sort of quietly in a way going up over 100 million, showing us that he's not really willing to call off light. And if that's it's interesting. It's been a very interesting. The 9-10 is maybe the most one of the more interesting folds. But as we say, his game plan is sort of working out. Everything seems to be going as planned, and he is in the driver's seat with the best seat, the best stack. He's on direct left of Samuel with double his chip stack. So really, if you drew it up for yourself and you're Eric, you got to love how it's going. 8-handed, massive lead, got 5x the majority of the table.
Yeah, and the most active player besides yourself at the table is to your direct right. Yeah, definitely he's in a really nice spot here.
Yeah, so ace 9 off does limp in, gets a really solid flop. King 9-4, 2 spades. This is probably one of the not so nice turn cards, right? It's the one over, completes some straights, completes flushes, and pesky card. Let's see if Eric's going to take a stab. Decides not to, and Samuel going to be pretty happy, I think, here if he can, with the ace 9, if he's able to take this down, maybe even some kind of blocker bet on the river, but likely gonna, I mean, you would think he's going to check, but maybe he does throw out a small bet.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate to see third pot or something. He goes bigger than that, over half pot.
Yeah, it's interesting sizing. All right.
I am surprised to see him fold that ace eight off when he was in the big blind, though. He earlier wasn't doing that, and I think he's kind of just kind of submitting to the big stack there, even though he knows he's wide. There's all these middle stacks, and he does need to just be careful against the big stack. Even if Eric's range is wide, it's just easy to lose a big one, right? And then you're out of the tournament, or you have a lot of equity in this spot with all these short stacks. So you do need to be a little careful, and he hasn't been so far. Maybe we'll see him be a little more, but maybe not. Oh, we have a big one brewing here. We have jacks for Kanapong, and Samuel has the ace king.
Wow. Well, the interesting thing is Oliver. Yeah, I mean, this is probably 8-handed ace 10 off, just like on the cutoff of maybe a fold, but he also could rip it for sure 10 blinds. I mean, it's very close with the ante, and first in. It's this is the chess clock is spinning here. And the interesting part is if he folds, what could happen between Kanapong and Samuel? There's sort of like a crazy matchup, right? The 2-3 stack basically tied for second with premium holding. So he does raise, and now this is going to get even more interesting.
I kind of like the small raise. I mean, he is the shortest stack. Some people might just ship it in. I think it's a little light here. I think it works well as just a raise and fold. Assume we are going to see a 3-bet to about, I don't know, 7 million or something like this.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be big, kind of thin the field, isolate, obviously not be folding to Oliver's hand. And then if there's somehow some crazy action behind the side, but yeah, so he goes small, and now Samuel. Whoa, here we go. Let's see. This could be the hand of the day. Early candidate.
Yes. I mean, we do have a raise under the gun in the next spot, 3-bets, which is they have to be fine with getting it all in versus the under the gun raise. So you're not jumping out of your seat with the ace king off here, but I don't imagine you're going to fold it either. But ace queen off is getting out of there for sure. He just rips it, which I kind of like, just
wow,
not a fun spot in Kanapong's seat here. He is covered slightly by Sam.
Wow.
Let's it go. Wow. The power of ace king. I don't blame him.
I mean, I expected that. At the same time, he's been so aggressive, but we're seeing again to call off versus the one being the aggressor, how different that is. And I don't think you can call there, right? It's just so like you're basically flipping most likely
best case.
At the same time, though, what is he doing with kings or aces? Is he just going to rip it? But still, like if he shows you ace king, you can't call there. You literally can't call. Like your stats worth like you're positioned to win 1.5 million, and you might just go out for 372. Like that's yeah.
The thing is, Samuel never has aces, I assume there. He probably never has tens either, and just jamming like that. He's got Eric behind him, so maybe tens folds or puts in a small 4-bet and folds to a shove. So it kind of just feels like kings, ace king off, maybe queens, or maybe jacks, their hands he would do that with. Kings maybe just a smaller 4-bet also. Maybe queens just shoves and ace king off. It's kind of what it feels like to me. But it's not easy to fold those jacks. Although it is a lot of people's least favorite hand in poker, I guess. So maybe it was the easy fold for Kanapong.
Yeah, again, also really interesting sizing. He goes small, right? 6 million, not 8, not 9.
Yeah.
Like he does a calculate like, all right, I'm isolating, I'm going to get it in versus Oliver. And if there's something behind happens, I can decide. So, very, very nicely executed. And some people may think it doesn't matter or what you're doing, but really, I like the sizing. I like the execution. And, he found a way to, if it was against a 20 million stack or Fang, wakes up, right, maybe you just have to run it and take it. But against Samuel or Eric, he decides that if he does get the full Chipotle, he's gonna reassess, and he did just that.
Sure. And we see Eric again. He had the King 7-0 just now opening up in the UTG 7. A little wide, a little wide. So here we see Samuel defend the 9-6 suited, earlier fold the ace-8 off. So, you know, these kind of flop maybe a little easier and better.
Yeah, it's also stack size a bit different, right? He was around 48 or 50 million, and now he's got 68. So a little more playability, a little less, a little deeper, and not quite as critical to maybe play a street or two of poker. But yeah, as it stands here, Eric with the 9 deuce suited against Istvan, who opens. Got to give him some credit here, although Istvan's been playing, right? He's not just been pedaling for sure. But gives it up. So interesting. I like how Eric's been approaching. I like his style of play. I just like that 9-10 off, right? I'm not crazy, Jeremy. You're calling there, right? Is that like that felt like close? Or do you think there's actually, maybe is that next level? Maybe give me
I don't know. It's, you probably are just going to be dominating some hands, honestly. Like he's got to shove 4.5 bigs on the button. You know, it kind of depends what his view is of how people are going to interpret ICM. So some guys, when they're the shortest stack, are just going to play closer to chippy V. And if you know that, you can just adjust accordingly. Whereas if, you know, the middle stacks, it's natural to play tight with ICM. But as the shorter one, some people will, some people won't. So if you think they are, then I guess you have to make some ridiculous folds like that, right? But in reality, he shouldn't be too crazy tight as with 4.5 big blinds on the button, as by far the shortest stack, in my opinion. So that would make me want to call with a pretty wide range in Eric's spot.
Well, look at this. Ace King suited 10s, a classic. Kanapong for this price isn't going to be able to do much more than just call. I guess he's just doing a quick think on it, maybe getting his RNG right, hoping for a big moment here. And it is a 10 and a king. Let's see if we can get a sweaty turn. Oh, I mean,
of course.
Come on. What a turn card this is. Can it be Kanapong getting his money's worth? It is a diamond low, and Oliver James will be out in 8th place. Good games all around. Nice score, 372. And Kanapong, who's gotten some big hands, had some interesting decisions, finds himself back over 50 million, and a relief for the remaining players as it is up to 496,000. Fang Zhao has been staying kind of under the radar. Jordan Sperling also has kind of had his kind of bit of, hasn't been able to quite get it going, but has found himself with some interesting spots. And look at this. Ace 7 off. Kanapong actually has the best hand. And Jordan, this is a big ask to fold here, but ICM is critical spot. And he, oh man, here we go. Here we go. Ace 9 in the lead, and we are going to go, and we are going to see a 9 on the flop. And Jordan Sperling, who has gotten bailed out a few times, gets a sweaty turn here. Going to need a 6 or a jack, or else we are going to see him depart. It is a 5, not quite a run though for Jordan. Just a bam, back-to-back jacks. We are out down to 662 locked up, and the field has consolidated, and basically 2 tournaments going here, Jim. We got the 70 million club, 62, 104, fairly healthy, and then we got 3 guys kind of in the critical zone. So we are down to 6, and the payouts start getting significant, major jumps from here on out. And here we go, Jeremy. Here we go.
The next one is 221,000. So that is a pretty good pay jump there. So it's going to, especially, I think these guys might even get even tighter than they were. You know, we've seen them make some very big folds. Might even, with bigger pay jumps, see a larger effect of that. Although at some point, some people are like, well, I've won this much money, and just start gambling for the rest of it. So here we see some nice, this was 3-bet by Kanapong, right? I believe it was.
Yeah, we got 9.3 million in there, and we got if you're gonna play 7-8 suited, you get the 4-6-3, 4-6-3 board with a backdoor flush draw, 2 overs. I mean, this is one of those spots where if you're Kanapong, and we saw the lead out before with the flop 2 pair with the 5-6 suited for Eric. He is going to go ahead and attack on this board. So interesting. And look at this card. I mean, Queen Jack suited, sticky peel, but what a turn. I mean, is there anything more pretty than being chip leader 6-handed in the World Series of Poker main event for 2.7 million? You got the nuts on the turn, 14 million in there, and a redraw. You got the nuts with the straight flush draw as well. The super nuts.
Yeah. The only thing prettier would be if Kanapong actually had something, but he's giving him some rope here. Maybe he can get some bluffs out of him. It's just a great hand that you can just check call. You're not worried about hardly anything in Eric's spot if Kanapong does bet.
Wow. Okay. Some high level stuff, man. I'll tell you what, if you want to talk about bad beats, running bad, I say this all the time in poker. You look at like you losing ace queen to ace jack, right? Or 9s to ace king, these type of hands late. Like, look at that. These guys are playing poker. Look at the maneuverability. Eric's leading out on the flop, on a gutter, on a board, and then he hits it. He's checking. There's a lot of poker being played. There's a lot of really, really strategic stuff going on and some interesting styles. We've seen some big folds as well. We've seen a lot of big folds, 8s open folding, 9s folding to shoves, 9s folding on opens where most people would shove. So it just shows you there's so much options in poker. There's so many different styles, and it's not necessarily right or wrong. That's why I think the game is in such a great place. And there's a lot of different ways to play hands, Jeremy. It's exciting.
Definitely. It's a very rich game, lots of decisions, and it all changes based on stack sizes and then especially based on opponents, right? So wouldn't have hated to see a call there. I mean, a raise is fine, but if Kanapong does just have a 7, that's pretty sweet because you have the super straight. So,
but no. So the action last hand, you're saying it was. I know it was an open, but you're saying it was a 3-bet, right? Kanapong
I'm not sure. I thought I saw him 3-bet, but I think it probably was a call. I don't think it was a 3-bet.
No, because it was 9 million. So if it was 1.4, he raised it up, got called. So yeah, okay, and then he let out, right? He let out on the flop.
Yeah.
Yes, but he was the raiser and he got flat. Okay, so no 3-bet. Yeah.
That's what happened. I think he raised pre and then he just c-bet the flop.
Makes sense. All right, well, look at this. He's up to almost 120 million, 119 million. So he is 118 plus. Yeah, 119 with the small blind out there. So he has got a hammer lock on, and expect to see him go to work here, right? I think this is time where he can really just start. Like, this just feels like an absolute send in. We saw him do it with the jack.
Yeah.
And 3 stacks playing for huge money, queen 6 off. I mean, we do see some players make it 2.5, 3x here, not just shove, but I just believe we're going to need to see Eric pick up a lot of uncontested pots. He's got a dream spot too, right? On this button, he gets to really put pressure on. And Kanapong, though, ace jack off, too good to just let go, I would imagine, 6-handed, right? You're not just going to roll over and let Eric win every hand. You got to play a bit.
Yeah, and he's shown to get in there and play some hands, reasonable hands. I'm a little surprised Eric didn't. I wouldn't have been shocked, I should say, to see Eric get in there, given his history. Don't think it's mandatory or anything, but he's ready to put a lot of pressure on people, play hands in position, things like that.
Yeah, well, blinds are up. 801.6 million are the new levels. Samuel with the ace-8 off, 6-handed. See, again, does Eric going to be giving him a hard time? How wide is he going to go? This would be a spot where Eric could start putting pressure. But the jack-9 off, not really a likely candidate for putting aggression on. So he does pass. And let's see, the 8-6 off Kanapong. Also, kind of everyone are aware of the situation, right? Fang, Yanfei, and Ispan are getting in that kind of critical 10 blind, sub 10 blind for Fang now. And Samuel going to open. And here's a situation where he's got a real hand. He's got the goods here with kings.
Yeah, and he's been 3-bet how many times now? Like I was saying a while back. So it'll happen again. Ace-8 off, I assume won't do much about it, but at some point you might want to put in a little 4-bet or something like that. So we'll see if he I mean, he has the stack size to do it for sure. Not a great hand to do it with. but it's not the worst hand to do it with either. And he might just be, it's frustrating when the guy to your left keeps messing with you. So you have to make some adjustments. We've seen Eric have it every time, but the adjustments would be tighten up and 4-bet more.
Yep. Well, Kanapong with a real hand, got jacks again. We saw him put the 3-bet and fold to the 4-bet jam earlier, this time on the button with no action in front. Pretty clear, just open. Fang Zhao gonna move along, and Samuel with one of the worst hands you could have does the same. So here we go. This is getting to it, Jeremy. We are moving. We're down to 6 and blinds are up. It's got all the makings of action, and here we go. The queens to jacks. The countrymen here, Jeremy. I mean, the big country. Wonder if they know each other, but there's hard to imagine not a collision here. 18 million got 11 blinds versus about what, 8 blinds, 7 million, 4 to 7 blinds. So this will be interesting. He goes all in. Is there ever in the world, is there? Oh no. Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
that would be wild if he folded.
No, it would be over the top, but the min, yeah. So this queens to jacks, we're seeing 5, and there is a jack flop. Fang is not ready to necessarily go home yet, but there's still a river card, 26 million in there. Is it paint? Is it a sweat? It is not paint, and it is going to be a double up for Fang Zhao. Maybe a little bit of breathing room now. 26 million. He's at a peak, and of course, a cooler 6-handed queens to jacks, 7 and 11 blinds. Really, no other way to go in but a all in, and we did see it, and he says thank you. That's a big moment. Unlucky for Yan Fei, and we are down to a interesting situation with this Yan Fei, and we see the Jack 10 off spot. Does Eric with the 3-6s? He's shown some moxie, but I think just pass it up, and everyone's going to be very aware that there is a massive jump. We got about $219,000 on from 6th to 5th, and that's what everyone's going to be eyeing up, as Yan Fei is on the chopping block with almost no chips.
Yeah, Yan Fei is very short now. He has 3 big blinds, 3 or 4 big blinds, 3.5, I guess, or no, 4 big blinds, or 3 big blinds.
All right, ace 7 off. Queen 9 suited, decides, hey, it's time. Get 12 million, try to get himself back in. He's actually slightly behind, but a pretty good equity matchup here as we see a flop. Look at that. So the 7 pairs, the 4, 5, 6, 7 needs a 8, a 9, or a queen on the river, or else we are going to be playing to a 5-handed game. And look at that. It is not quite it. Good game, Samuel says. He's giving the claps out. Of course, everyone feeling good as they are down to 883,000, Jeremy. This is
sweet.
This is real. This is a real payday right now. People are playing for real money. Real money here. This is exciting. And we got Kanapong with the ace jack on the button, surely going to open it up. Be interesting to see what Samuel does here.
Yeah, I would think Samuel's certainly continuing with this one. Maybe sometimes you see the 3-bet out of these types of hands. Not this time. So there is 1 10 big blind stack and about a 15 big blind stack. So something to consider for sure. These middle stacks would likely try to wait out these other stacks a little bit and be a little tighter pre-flop in certain spots. Probably continuing this, with the 8 of spades there. Ace high might be the best hand. An unfortunate turn card for Samuel. He's gonna at least continue for one more street.
Yeah, what do you like on the sizing here? 14 million. You got the stone cold nuts. You're in position, but you kind of thinking what is your opponent going to stick on with? It's mostly some flushes, and then it depends how high. And if you're Samuel, though, do you ever just cut it here? Like, what are the? It's tough.
I can never fold in Sam's spot with 8 of spades. You got to pill one. I mean, assuming if your opponent's barreling at a somewhat correct frequency, they just don't have a spade a lot. you're pretty high up in your range, honestly, with the 8 of spades. But now the river comes and you're going to have just a bluff catcher, and it's going to be near a 0 EV spot. Depending on the sizing, will sway you a little bit here.
What do you like on sizing? Because it's almost, this is where you kind of have to, you got to read like, all right, how high up, what kind of spade would my opponent have to have? How much can they call? And he's going, I guess he's just trying to cooler someone, right? He's trying to say like, if you got the king or the jack, or, you're just, maybe he wants it here.
And he should have big bets here, even bigger. I think sometimes he just has the range advantage. I mean, Samuel just check called the turn. Konopong has the nut advantage. He's more likely to have the nuts than Samuel, given Samuel didn't raise the turn. So he could go even bigger. That being said, some people don't like to do that because they don't want to, he should have big bets, but Samuel should call pretty wide, and maybe a lot of people don't call wide enough. So a lot of people bet an amount that's more likely to get called, which is like leaving the GTO universe. But you see it all the time, especially in live poker. And that's kind of, this size is fine. Not saying he's deviating from GTO too much or anything like that, but and Samuel's spot, you're just bluff catching, right? Either the guy has a big spade, probably. Would he bet this size with a jack of spades? I'm not sure, but king or an ace, certainly he would. Probably a jack he would, given this size too. So he has those 3 hands, or he has air ball, and he does call.
Gets the call. And Samuel, who's played such a nice brand today, can't blame him, as you said, right? This is just one of those things, like it's kind of hard to fold there, but that was a big decision. And credit to Konopong, right? This is, I think, Samuel to saying that, hey, you're capable here. You can bluff. You're willing. You've been playing a lot of pots. You battle, and that's a big function. Some guys he's probably not going to pay there or call. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It does kind of. He's given him credit that he can be, he's capable of bluffing. And we don't know these guys' history, right? Maybe they play with each other a fair amount in the tournament scene and know each other a little bit. It's hard to say, but yeah, if your opponent's under bluffing, you're certainly burning money by calling there.
And look at Fang, not like a crazy play, but based on how he's played, pretty close to the vest, does step out with ace-8 suited when there's a significantly shorter stack. So nice recognition against the player in the spot. I mean, it's open folds 8s and now goes with ace-8 suited with action in front of him in a shorter stack. So that was a bit surprising.
Agree. I wouldn't have been shocked just to see him put the ace-8 suited in the muck there at all. I don't think it's really the best play, but I think he should definitely play it. But he kind of just committed his stack. And yeah, Isman here is quite short now. So 7 big blinds, something like that. So Thing is highly incentivized to, see if maybe he busts and pick up the, how big is this pay jump? 300,000 or something, about 300K. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 293. It's massive. That is real. It's a lot of buy-ins. It's a lot to play for, a lot to think about. And Ispan, who has kind of not had to be fair, he really hasn't got dealt in, right? I mean, he's made the most of it. He's been aggressive. He's 3-bet some really close like spots that most people I don't think would take. So cheers to him for, I think if you look at distribution of cards and what's happened, I think for him to be in the final 5 right now is a testament to his game and what he's been able to do with the hands he's got. And here he goes. He's going to get a decent spot. Likely don't see anyone that can call him. So important pot for him. Puts it back up to 14 million. And it's still a lot of work to do, but important as those blinds come around fast. And he is short, so he does pick up that pot. And aces again, Konopong been getting dealt the weapons today.
Yeah, he really has. And I don't think he's going to get any action here. Yeah, Isman, you're right. He's played really well. If he got a hold of some chips, I think he would be one to watch for sure. He seems like he knows what he's doing. Very capable, plays well. He's not afraid.
All right, well, this is the two chip leaders going at it here. We see 4-6 suited is kind of pulling off the stack sizes. Is it okay? Maybe just put a 3-bet in ace-4 off. Doesn't want to call. I mean, the sizing is a little bit inviting, but man, 6-4 suited is Eric. He's got the chip lead. Does he really want to go exploring here with the 6-4 suited? Although it is a cracker hand, he does go for a peel. And now this is exciting because no player has anything. Kanapong, we see 20 in the middle, playing for chip lead pot potential. And what does he do? You get a 3-bet, okay, but now what? Now you're in the streets. Now you got the queen 9-5 rainbow. You're out of position, and he comes with a third pot.
And you get floated a lot on this board. There's so many draws, and this isn't one that he can continue. But yeah, you're right. The sizing there, I would have liked to see. I think if I'm there, I'm 3-betting a little larger. I'm not looking to play a pot with a chip leader out of position with these short stacks here, especially though 8 big blind short stack. I would have 3-bet a little larger. And here we see him getting pretty aggressive, 5-6 suited. He's probably picked up on the fact that Fang's been pretty tight, and he's just trying to put max pressure, especially because it's been short. So I kind of like this here, but Fang just wakes up with it.
Yeah, 5-6 off. He does go ahead and he does 2.5x. Now, would have been interesting if he shoved. I don't know. Fang may not go away, although it would have been a big call off considering Eastbound's stack. That would have been interesting to see. And here we got aces from the chip leader under the gun, 5-handed, but probably not going to get a customer.
I don't think so. We've seen a lot of big hands, haven't we? I don't know how many hands we've seen, but we've seen aces several times, kings several times.
Yeah, look at that distribution. No one really has anything. Samuel not going to limp into the chip leader in this dynamic of a different situation. He does just give it up. You see the chess clocks. Everyone's got time remaining. Notably, most players over 10. Samuel 7:55. He had some disconnect issues earlier. And Eric, who has the chip lead, but the least time, 4.5 minutes to make decisions. If that were hit at 0, you get 5 seconds per street to deal. And here we go. Ace Jack shove. We've seen Eric not like to call off, but this is close. I mean, we're talking what, 19, 18 blinds, and he does call.
Calls. Wow.
See if anything interesting can happen here. If we're just going to see a chop, and hello.
Oh.
Wow. Not what you want to see. If you're Samuel, can he fade that river or else? It is they ripped that one fast. I didn't even see the slow peel. That is running hot after that situation. And everyone at the table, I mean, imagine being there at the table. You are definitely rooting for a club, right? If you're Eastbound there, that's a 300K potential turn or river coming your way after that flop, but it's not to be. And he is the short stack with 2-3 offsuit, going to take the button, try to see if you can get something this orbit. Kanapong had a inviting hand, would have been calling. He's got 100 million flat. And look at this, Jeremy. I mean, if you stay long enough, maybe they just get passed around. Ace is here, and he's going to get his money's worth. I think he's going to get a chance to double, I would imagine. I mean, I don't think OMG.
You know what? This is going to help Eric get away from this. Otherwise, Eric probably wouldn't have gotten away from this if it went fold on the button, fold in the small blind. Fang, the way he's been playing, would have just shoved. He wouldn't put in a small 3-bet. And Eric would have probably called the 15 big blind shove. And now I just don't think, given the button, who can have a pretty wide range because he's so short, but after Fang does this, the ace jacks just gotta get out of here. Fang's played way too tight. Easy to say in our shoes because we've seen every hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it is only a 5 big blind shove and a 15 big blind shove. So, good fold.
Yeah, King 8 suited, still live though. I mean, he's behind, but has some options to make this interesting. And that is not quite one to start. Going to need there it is. There's no sweat on the turn.
No sweat.
That is it. And Ace Jack off definitely saved some chips. Really worked out well for Eric there. Good games all around, and they are down to 4. And that is a big moment here because that means it's $1 million plus guaranteed. 1,176,000 going to be awarded to our 4th place player, and we are still playing for a lot. Get ready for that giveaway. Hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying, and we will give a keyword for you very soon to be entered into that giveaway. And 2 of the 4 are eligible for a $100 times 2 tickets. So there's a 50% chance, maybe better, with the chip distribution for 2 $100 tickets going to be given away, at least one. And Jeremy, how are we looking on our bet? You've got.
I have Eric, right?
You have Eric, yes.
You have Samuel and you have Konopong, I think.
Oh wow. Well, they may be consolidating potentially 70 and 66 million. There's 66 and a million. There's 6 is the chip. I don't believe in numerology. If you do, you're gonna need runner because he just flopped basically a royal flush. 118 won to flop a flush, a good time for it. Samuel Booston, the dream of becoming the main event champion for this year will die, but he is a true talent, a formidable opponent, and he will take home another 1,176,000 for his efforts. Congrats to Samuel. And we got a new chip leader, Jeremy, 3-handed. There is a new chip leader in town. He's
eliminated several people, 3 at least. He's picked up good hands. They've held. And I think he's played really well. So these two are very close in chips. And then Fang is quite a bit down there, but he still has, 20-some big blinds. And as we've seen, you can't really wait out Fang. He is on the tighter side. So we might just see some battling. I'm going to anticipate battling between Eric and Konopong here. They're both showing the propensity to be quite aggressive, not be afraid. I assume this is going to go open 3-bet right away.
Yeah, be curious the sizing here, because it is very worth noting. You got a 20 blind stack separating yourself for another. Everyone guaranteed 1.57. You got about a $500,000 pay jump though. If you're Konopong, do you think he goes a little more this time, or is he going to stick to his sort of 3x? Not huge, right? They're deep, but Queen 7 off. Likely not interested in continuing there. That hand just doesn't play well. That's known as a computer hand. Heads up. Well, we're 3-handed. I want to get the giveaway going. So let's make the keyword WSOP GG. So type WSOP GG, hit the thumbs up button, only if you're enjoying the stream, of course. If you're enjoying along with Jeremy, Awesomeness, and myself, and we will be picking a winner, WSOP GG, here shortly, and potentially 2 winners for a $100 ticket each. So at least 1 winner though. Please get those in, and once we get the heads up as it gets going, we'll draw. But you don't have to type it more than once. Type it once. WSOP GG, lowercase, uppercase, either way. And good luck to everyone watching. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. It's been quite a final table, Jeremy. I'd say this is very entertaining. More action than I actually expected. It's been very entertaining.
For sure. Yeah, it's been great. I think we're going to see this a lot. Konopong just open every small blind into Fang and just Fang potentially overfolding. There's been some big hands. Gone pretty quick though. Finally, it took a while to get going, but now they're flying out of here.
Take a little video here. This is nice. People are fired up, Jeremy. They see the payouts here. 2.7 million up top. Pretty special one.
It's big. This is huge. I mean, how many tournaments all year can you do this? Look at Fang here. He's essentially just rejamming the Jack 10-0, 20 big blinds, and we have a smaller ante. So he's shown that he's got 1.57 locked up. I think he's just ready to go for it now. Yeah, I'm gonna put a story up on my Instagram. I appreciate everyone hitting the retweet on Twitter as well. But the giveaway is here, WSOPGG. We'll see what happens. And we got a break, Jeremy. Good timing for the break, you guys. At the end of the break, I'm gonna end the giveaway. So give you a chance to hit the thumbs up. Give you a chance to type in WSOPGG, and we're going to give you a chance to see who wins 2.7 million. We'll be back in 4 minutes. Jeremy Awesomeness, Jeff Gross, WSOP, main event, final table. We'll see you in a few.
Back. We are back. This is three-handed poker. This is big money. Millionaire row, 1.57 million up to the third place payout. So guaranteed this, playing for a lot, 2,793,574 coming to the winner. So this is three-handed poker, and yeah, my man's got his work cut out for him. It is a very, very intense time of the tournament. Playing for keeps. Kanapong has got the driver's seat. Eric's kind of done well, right? Was in control for the majority of the final table. And of course, the goal is to get heads up. That's how you win a poker tournament. You want to have the chip lead. You want to be in control. But these two players have themselves set up to do so. Fang going to try to get something going. I mean, you know, one double and you're right in the mix. So this is definitely anyone's game still, although Fang is the significantly shorter stack at the moment.
Yeah, here we see a limp from the small blind and a check from the big blind. Eric led the flop. Kanapong called, and then Eric bet the turn again. Kind of a pretty interesting spot. They both have double gutters on the turn. I think anyone who bets this is probably just gonna win. He goes big.
Yeah, this is one of those things where very nicely done. And when you have the same hand, the aggressor is usually rewarded, especially when there's no completion of a hand, but as making a hand. And here we go. Eric, again, right in there. He's staying active, staying aggressive, gets a weak ace on the button, and bang with the jack four off. Not really a spot to take a stand or even defend. So again, sort of the idea is 2 million for second, 2,094,000, and a lot of play left. And Fang likely with the 20 blinds going to see a min raise here. Ace eight off, pretty strong three-handed off 20 blinds, and not a hand you really want to peel. So then it begs to, what are your options? Likely surfs up. Let's see what Fang does. He usually throws it in and then puts the emoji, right? He likes to say one time. There it is. on cue, just one time. Kanapong though, not really a 20 blind call off hand, the ace five suited. So this should work out well for Fang. So you know, starts with one. There he is, up to 46 million. Blinds are 1 million, 2 million. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have got over 630 thumbs up. We appreciate that. 4,000 coming back after the break. GGPoker, over 105,000 subscribers now on YouTube. Appreciate you guys hitting the subscribe button. Appreciating the heads up. And I will be announcing at heads up a winner for the YouTube channel giveaway today, which will be $100 GG tournament ticket, possibly two, if Eric can figure out how to do it, right? That's all we got left. It was Eric Samuel in the ninth place who went out early. The ninth shortest stack went out in ninth, and now we are down to, so you guys got like a 1 in 3, a little better than that, right? With 113 million chips, chance for 2 tickets going to be awarded, but at least one. And Jeremy, any thoughts so far? Anything that stood out for you at this final table and play?
Well, one thing I've noticed is Fang has opened up a lot from his earlier play. You know, when there was 9 left, 8 left, 7 left, he made some pretty big folds. Folded him in the cutoff. He just folded 8s, right? I think. So that was a very large fold. And I was surprised to see it. Since then, since it's been three-handed, he rejammed Jack 10 off and Ace 8 off out of the small blind. Both are, you know, pretty close. You could kind of go either way with those hands. You could call, you could fold, you could small 3-bet, or shove, I guess. That's definitely the more aggressive action. So anyways, he's opened up his play a lot. So I think he's just kind of content with, you know, he's made $1.6 million now almost. So a lot of times when people get to this stage, they are just so happy they've won this much money. They're not going to play tight anymore. They're going to kind of loosen it up. But he's definitely shown he's one to not take flops. He's more just gonna get it in pre-flop. Even with his big hands, he'll just shove them type of stuff. Whereas the other two will see more flops. I think they might feel a little more comfortable playing post-flop, things like that. Honestly, I think this is the first hand we've seen Fang play post-flop. I don't know if that's correct for sure, but I can't remember another flop that he saw. So
Yeah, well, it gets a good flop, right? He has a nice advantage there on the king 6-5 and does c bet queen 10 off and gets 7 deuce suited to lay it down. So he's up to 50 million. Decent start for Fang in this three-way battle. He's chipped up a bit from his stack. He's at a peak, I believe, 50 million. And again, anywhere is possible. Anything is possible here. There's still a lot of play. Three-handed things can happen, but Kanapong in the driver's seat, pretty close to Eric's stack, and Fang with the 10-4 off. He's actually gotten some. I think to his benefit, his favor, he's gotten some pretty straightforward decisions. He's getting some really bad hands, and then he's gotten some queens in good spots where there's been a raise and he's been short. And he's got it to get in and with some premiums and got to C5 with a big advantage. And to be fair, he did hit that lightning jack, queens to jacks behind. He would have been out. So that was a big one, right? That was maybe 6-handed or 5-handed at least, where he hit the jack. So that is, it's a good time to win a 4-1. And he had a real hand.
Yeah. And a lot of times the guys who are the final three have just ran pretty well, obviously. And that was a pivotal hand for him, jacks versus the queens. That was the most important hand he's played for sure. This one could have got a little more interesting it was just limp check. I mean, they do have 60 big blinds. It's not like they're ready to just go, get all in pre-flop for that much with a small ante, especially ICM. But oftentimes we'd see a raise and a call, usually a raise from the nines. But
so nines got to feel good. Of course, Jack 10 not checking on the turn with the whatever. I mean, you basically have the stone cold nuts essentially here, right? I mean, it's just got to feel pretty good. Maybe go for a big bet.
I think so, for sure. It goes 2x pot. One of the first real overbets we've seen, I think. And kind of the nature of final tables, you don't see a lot of post-flop. It's a lot of pre-flop maneuvering, or whether it's small 3-betting or shoving. So we haven't seen a lot of post-flop play. The fives here, not a great bluff catcher. I mean, there has been $0 put in though after the flop, so 0 chips put in. So I think you need a pair is much better than fives. I mean, you do block 5-7, which is kind of cool. And Eric's shown the propensity to do some stuff, right? So I think Kanapong just decided he needs to keep him honest there. Having a pair on the board though helps a lot, just blocking all the 2 pair outs, things like that.
Yeah, well, a little flip-flop there. We see the chip leader now back is in the hands of Eric Matson, who does have the lead, and Fang Zhao does call the king 8 off and gets out flopped. Has a relevant card here, but not a great flop if you are Fang Zhao. You got the gut shot, but you are not in love with it. 10 million in the middle, and Eric does love it. Top and bottom, he's got the missionary, and he has got the lead in the hand, and he's got to go for a bet here. Pretty, expected a decent bet here. He's gotta like his hand. There's some draws here. Goes a little over half pot.
Half pot might be enough to just price out the king 8. Quarter pot might have got him in there, get a little value, but also open yourself up to get beat. He does call. Unfortunate turn for him, but it's not like he's going to go broke, likely. And it's probably going to slow Eric down too. Probably pretty standard to see this go check. I mean, 10x is a fair part of Fang's range here when he check calls flop. Also, just have a pair a lot and not be able to call a turn bet either.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I guess it doesn't change much, but it does actually, from a standpoint of, I guess there could be a little blood here. Let's see what he comes with. At the same time, it's kind of hard to call a big bet here too.
Yeah, it'll depend on the sizing here. And, we haven't seen Fang play a lot of post flop. I don't know how susceptible he is to calling, river bets and things like this on a board like this, but you do block some full houses. So it's definitely worth considering a call, no matter what the bet size is, honestly. unless it's maybe all in or something. So he does go very large. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Snapped him.
Snap
Jeez.
called. Fang was not willing to call the flop, improve, and then get rid of it. And Eric, man, out of nowhere, executes 2 overbets and just gets paid off in kind of wild spots. He's got the massive lead, over 170 million chips, and Fang is all but on the ropes here. He's got Jack 9, 7.7, about 3 big blinds. Does rip it in, ace 3. Likely going to be contesting, but at the same time, right, we've seen Eric make some tight folds and just kind of like keeping the stack around, but this isn't the same situation. He is going to put it in. He does have the best hand. We could be heads up, ace 3, Jack 9 to a flop. Woo, spicy one. 50-50 to the river though. Advantage still Eric. He needs improvement, or we are going to be heads up for the main event, and it is a something. Oh, it's a real slow peel.
7.
Not enough. That is not enough. And Fang Zhao going to go out 1,570,000. These two players have something in common. They each have scored for over $2 million, playing for roughly almost exactly 700,000. Big heads up match. A lot of stake to be the champion of the world of poker. Main event 2022 online here. It is that time, and we are going to give the giveaway. I'm going to let it get up to well, these guys are fairly deep. I'll let it go for another second here. If you type WSOPGG in the chat, if you hit the thumbs up, you're eligible. And I'm actually gonna choose a winner here in a second, because I know it's gonna be 1 and it might be 2. Because if the chip leader wins, we're giving away 2 $100 GG tournament tickets. Oh, I think all right. I got the winner name selected. What do you think? Who do you got here? I mean, chip lead, Eric, hard to debate that he's got the lead, but is Kanapong, do you like his game enough? Do you think, could you pick him here, or do you just have to go with the chips?
I mean, if you're going to bet on it, and I picked Eric going in earlier, right, for our bet. So I got to go with Eric. They're both very capable players and seem to be playing very well. So, but yeah, I'm an odds guy. You got to take the guy with the most chips, I think. And we're getting right into a big one right off the bat here. Be interesting to see if any money goes in on here on the turn.
Yeah, Kanapong, ace king does check, ace 10 suited. All right, guys, if the WSOPGG, I see it, I love it, I dig it, I respect it. We're at 760 thumbs up. You guys are wild. I love that. 4,400 of you watching right now. We're gonna see some history made today. Ace king does have the best hand. Queen 9 8 6, ace 10 suited. Gotta feel like could have the best hand, but we are gonna pick the winner here shortly. All right, so we see some checks, and ace king going to get to show it down. So it's going to tighten it up a little more as we see it is literally, it's almost anyone's game. I mean, it's 130, 160, 25, 2.5 million BB. It looks like you should be on time for the Poker Masters today, at least not super late, Jeremy. We're seeing some heads up. You never know, could go for a while, but these guys seem to like to play. We see some overbets. We see some people going for it, and we all know it just takes one hand, Jeremy. It could be over in a jiffy. So 786 thumbs ups. Who do you guys think is going to win? Let us know in the chat. We have got a $2 million guaranteed score for both of these players, playing for another 700K. All right, Eric is got a diamond. He's got a 7. Can't blame him for betting here. Kanapong with the bottom pair. Ace deuce. Does he ever check raise? Just call. Seems logical. Maybe a lead on the turn. Board pairs. All could be likely plays. But these guys been playing straightforward. I mean, this is always interesting to see who's got tricks heads up. We've seen Eric with some interesting leads. This is definitely a spot where Kanapong could want to protect and sort of take control of the hand, but he does check it over to Eric.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, this could be over at any point. Once you get to 40 bigs, 50 bigs, you pick up an ace. A lot of times you just get it all in. So they didn't get too crazy pre-flop here, but the potential is there. They're content to just show these ace highs down, obviously.
Yeah. All right. That's enough for the WSOPGGs. I'm going to call after this hand. I will announce the first winner of possibly 2, but at least 1 winner. You guys at home, unfortunately, we kind of got the deck stacked against Kanapong in terms of rooting, because there's an extra $100 in tournament dollars on the line if Eric can finish it off. And wait for our bet. So Wait, did you just scoop? No, we're playing for dinner. I want Kanapong, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I got Eric and you have Kanapong, right?
All right. This is for a nice dinner. I'm talking, the wives, we got, some drinks and dessert, the whole deal. Maybe even a fly-in. We didn't say, is it a fly-in wedding? Maybe someone has to fly to Vegas, fly to Miami. Add a little extra, a fly-in one, a vacation bet, dinner bet. I don't know. I didn't clarify the terms and conditions, but you make it to Florida enough, right? You get down this way. So
yeah.
And I get to Vegas.
And you make it out here enough too, right?
Yeah, so we can leave out the travel if we want. Let's we'll keep it friendly. We got kids and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot to ask for a fly-in dinner.
Once you get kids and then they get in school and then they have sports and all this, it's hard to pull off the flying dinner. It is. Not gonna lie.
It is for sure. Well, this is a action turn. If you can get one, both players can be interested. 9-10. It's got some overs to that 8 and 7, and it's got open-ended against ace-8. Definitely a spot where could see some semi-bluffing, right? You got a lot of good turns to improve, maybe get some forced folds, although the 8 does pair his opponent. He goes for a small bet, quarter pot. Surely ace-8 suited is pretty high up here. Could even consider raising, although, we're just playing nice, and that's going to potentially cost Kanapong as he has made the nut straight his opponent, Eric.
I think the ace-8 definitely could have raised the turn. It was a small bet. The hand does need protection. It's very likely to be the best hand. I think a call's fine too, but a raise would have been definitely fine. And he's going pretty big with basically the nuts here. He gets called pretty quickly. I think they've just people aren't going to fold Eric.
It's crazy. He's gotten to execute. He's got a 2-1 chip lead essentially at the moment. Ace Jack 7-10 suited, 2 playable hands, and I'm going to announce the first winner of the giveaway is Petra Reeb. I will put that in the chat, and if you can tell me your GG name, there it is. Winner. So please let me know your username. And that's $100 in $T. And that is the first winner and possibly one more. Looking good for the audience here, Jeremy. 2-1 lead. 2-1 lead for the ship right here. And Petra Reeb, we're looking for you if you can put in your username. Thank you so much. We are underway in the heads up match. Ace deuce, Jack 9 gets 3 bet. Does he want to feel here? Jack 9 offsuit, heads up. Fairly deep, does not.
Slightly too weak, I think, with the small ante heads up. Although Kanapong often gives a pretty good price, so it's about there that you want to call just a pip better. I think I'm in there. And Kanapong has shown that he just wants to raise. I don't think he's limped at all. I think he's open raising every one of these buttons, and he's going to get a call here. Quarter pot. Mattson's got to continue. And let's see if he can get 2 streets. See the sizing he uses. Oftentimes you'll see the big bet here. 3/4 or full pot. Yeah, he goes 3/4. And Eric, it's not like he has an auto fold. He doesn't block any draws at all. It's actually a decent hand to call with, but you can't blame a guy for folding. It's not worth a lot to call.
Yeah, we are playing for the title here for a bracelet. Jeremy was so kind to show us what a World Series of Poker online bracelet looks like. It's the same as the live one. He's got one right there. He won one in the past week. He did show that earlier, and he has 5 now. Have you won 4 in 1 year, or like roughly a year? A little over, technically. Has it been an actual year?
WSOP was in late in the year last year, and I won 2. And then this WSOP, I won 1 in the summer, and then I won 1 in this online series. So it was 4, and like someone told me at the Donnie Peters or Remco told me it was like 4 in 350 days or something like that.
That's crazy. I mean, that's honestly, I don't think anyone's done that in less than, no, I don't think anyone's ever won 4 in a series, right? So like now we're talking in a year. That's pretty wild. That's a record, I guess, right? That's got to be.
Yeah, they said Ted Forrest won 3 in 3 days or 3 in 5 days once, like a long time ago. But yeah, fortunate to just knock all these tournaments off lately. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That is sick. That is very, very sick. And I'll tell you what, King Deuce here, gonna go for a bet. Jack 8 does not have a calling hand, but could it get a little savage here? It's got blocking some straights, some flushes. Does he want to make a stand? Does he want to put pressure on here and go for a big raise? But you know, it's weird, right? You're in control of the match. You got the chip lead. You want to kind of give him a chance, and the wheels were spinning. Eric definitely considering that.
It's definitely worth considering, I think. He's got some couple of key blocker cards. Let's see if Kanapong continues. Now he throws in some limps. Okay, so he'll have some limps in his game too. And a 5x ISO raise from Eric. Big size. I think I like that. Flops top pair, bad kicker, opens a 10-3 off. So you kind of do have to play every hand pretty much. Like I said, it is a small ante. I'm used to live more where oftentimes it's a big blind ante. Then you really can't fold a hand. Takes it down. Might see some action here. I mean, it's not like Eric for sure should 3-bet this. If he does, he has to be content calling a jam with it. And, you know, that's kind of gets dicey. So, and it plays really well to just call. You keep in a lot of dominated hands, things like that.
Yeah, really nice flop for the ace-4 suited. He's got the wheel draw, could be the best hand, which is the case. And now it picks up the backdoor flush draw. So ace-4 suited, 19 million in the middle, has the best hand, best position. What does he want to do? Does he want to keep telling a story? Does he want to take his equity here, as he did get called on the flop? So, you know, if you're up against a 5 or a queen, maybe he just decides that's not the case. Maybe he wants to get maybe a little better ace to fold potentially too, something like that. And either way, nice hand and tight quarters here. Queen 6 off, just under the computer hand. As I said, queen 7 offsuit is the dead middling hand on heads up play. So anything better is technically, you know, you can assume you're ahead. Anything worse, maybe you're behind, but queen 6 pretty close to that dead middling hand and does flop well. Top pair, weak kicker against king jack high, 11.6 in the middle. Eric does go for the check back. Interesting, a little deception, little pot control. And Kanapong now with king jack off. Does he want to start firing? No, he says, you know what? Let me just see what my opponent does here. Gotta believe some betting here and maybe bigger. And that's curious to me. What do you like? What do you think of that? Double check there, Jeremy?
Yeah. I mean, I like mixing in some checks on the flop once in a while with top pair.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's fine. And then on the turn, it's like your range isn't all that strong because you check back the flop. So certainly he could bet and probably does the majority of time, but I think checking's fine too. And now it looks really kind of fishy.
Right.
It kind of looks like 8x or ace 9.
Yeah, or just a stone air that's betting, because like, yeah, if you hit the 9, like a lot of 9s wouldn't bet, or like, why, you know, if you had a draw like 6-7 or 6-4,
you would have bet those.
Yeah, you probably bet a lot of those kind of no showdown hands. So that's an interesting spot. But king jack off, definitely a speculative call, and does suss it out, make the right decision.
Little action here. Top and bottom pair, and then top pair. No kicker, no heart. That will be an action killer though. Probably just they're both content to get to showdown at this point. Should go check, I assume. And now Eric might consider putting in a small little bet here. It might be worth something. I mean, a check is perfectly reasonable also, but yeah, he does go for a quarter and gets called. Nice value bet.
Yeah, this is definitely interesting strategies as we see sort of stacks get shorter and heads up. We see a lot of limping and such, but these guys still there's plenty of play here. They got over 100 mil. Blinds are still, you know, still playability here. So we are seeing the min raises come in. And a little difference instantly noticing, I guess it's also different part of the tournament, but we do see that bigger raise, right? Out of position, ace nine suited, 4xing. Kanapong was kind of going for 3x, even smaller in some interesting spots, more inviting to the players to call. So, I think I'm more on your school too. I like the little bigger, right? Out of position to sort of have bigger sizing, but could also be Kanapong's just so comfortable post flop and also aware maybe that does appear stronger as well when you do that. So you just never know what someone's school of thought is on that. I think the traditional is more towards that 4x, right? A bigger sizing out of position generally.
I think so. That's what I prefer. I think that's generally what you see, especially, at a final table with smaller stacks around. I think you're just typically going to see that more. And we get in a little check raise bluff here, which is going to get through, I assume. It's a nice hand to do it with. A lot of backdoor draws. But yeah, we do see the contrast in the styles. The 3x 3-bet, the 4x 3-bet from Eric.
Yep. Well, this is a spot where ace jack heads up. It's got to feel decent with the hand. Queen 3 off is making top pair and now making trips on the turn. So this is a problematic card for Kanapong. You could think, how could he lose too much in this spot? But now all of a sudden, he's beating some of the draws, 7-8 hearts, and maybe Eric with the lead here, which he does go small, but kind of, I like it. I like the leading here. He's going to get a lot of checkbacks, and maybe I would go a little bigger, but either way, I still think this is a thoughtful lead by him. I like the lead.
Yeah, this river, I don't think he'll probably get paid off because his leads would contain 8-9, 7-8, 7-9, 4-7 type hands. Probably would be a lot of his leading hands on the turn. So he does price it like he has a 7 or a 6 or a 5, targeting specifically ace X. And he has a hand that kind of wants to fold, call, or raise. He could kind of go either way with his ace jack with the jack of hearts.
I was going to say that seems very inviting for a raise, right? Because you're kind of exactly like you said, maybe just lose to 7x, but you want to sort of get that off. So I think that's sort of a brutal spot, similar to that ace queen earlier where Samuel bet really small in the river and got called, was actually good, right? Just he doesn't expect to be good, but you're getting such a good price. Those are always tricky spots.
For sure. Yeah, without a doubt. And we'll see some action here. Top pair, backdoor hearts, good kicker, and open-ended with a heart. I mean, the open-ended could raise. I kind of prefer to call this one. You hate to raise and get jammed on because you're going to get it in against dominated hand a lot, dominating draw, I should say. So I like to check call this. And now there's going to be a decision if he faces a turn bet, which he very likely will face a turn bet of, I would think, at least half pot, maybe 3/4 pot.
Well, this is you saw this going differently if you're Kanapong. He does heal though. And
he does pill. Yeah, he's getting, I don't know. It is hard to fold, but you might just be against ace king or ace 10 or king 10 or king 9, and you're completely dominated by all those hands. And if you make a pair, a lot of those hands make a straight. I think you could let this go on the turn if I was in his spot. And now he's going to be down. He's going to be under 10 big blind, or under 20 big blinds. He'll be about 18 big blinds now. So he's really down there after that pot.
Wow, big. And guys, you know what? I'm gonna make the executive decision since this is getting close. This could be over any moment. Of course, it could be a long match still, but if we get to 1,000 thumbs up, that's another 164. I will just release another $100 ticket. We're so close. I don't know if we've ever had 1,000 straight on a show. We've had some big ones, so I'll give you guys that opportunity. If you've typed WSOPGG and you hit the thumbs up, we'll put that in for another one. And interestingly, here I've never even seen this, Jeremy, but this we got so many people on. It looks like there was like an imposter. Petra Reed. There's someone who made an account, said they're this, now there's no. So I've never seen this before, but that's scary. So we have two people typing and saying different usernames, but I don't know. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to go to the maybe I don't know what to say there. We're gonna have to go to the replay on that. I really don't know. Yeah. So anyway, that's we'll deal with that in a bit. In the moment, we see Kanapong looking to stick around as he does have the wheel on the ace 2 3 4 5 board, and Eric with the queen 6 and a heart. Does he want to maybe with the 6 in there? Does he decide? Does he try to get a little saucy, try to pick this one up? But maybe a
I think
small
it's
bet.
a decent spot, honestly. I mean, he's got a heart too. He can rep hearts if they come. And he did check back the flop, which is a little tricky also. So I think betting now is good. And we'll see. He might just follow through here. I mean, it's a decent candidate to just keep bluffing. Konopong's not likely to have a 5. He check called, which obviously he will do sometimes, but no, he gives it up.
Yeah, maybe queen 6 says I have a little showdown against some spade draws or heart
Yeah.
draws. Either way, he's just like, you know what? I took a shot, didn't hit my gut shot. I like the candidate for bluffing there.
$20 bigs can get in the middle quick if we get the right hands. Maybe as they get more shallow, we'll see a little more limping, but maybe not. Konopong's shown that he prefers to raise. He's limped a couple, but he's usually in there raising, it seems like. Picks that one up. So a little over 20 bigs now for him. 22 bigs.
Yeah, this is you know, again, it looks like, oh, he's so short, it's in trouble, but he's got 20 bigs, and look at this. If he gets it in, all of a sudden you pick it up, got 73 million, 225. Yep. We're talking 3 to 1. This is anyone's game still.
For sure. A flip away from being tied, basically.
Yeah, exactly right. That's it's a dangerous lead. It's like in sports, you know, what they say, 2-1 or 2-0, I guess it is. It's dangerous, right? It can change quickly. Things can happen, and it is anyone's game. And this is a spot where, look at this, they both got a little something, a little bit of open-ended. One queen 7 in the lead, however. And let's see if Eric maybe wants to try to put a check raise in here or just call. Definitely not going to be releasing the hand.
Does put in the check raise. He's got some backdoor clubs too, which can add some equity on a lot of turns. Does get pretty tricky out of position here now on a card like this. Although Konopong doesn't necessarily have a lot of just King X, right? Interesting. Might Eric bet here? Yeah, I think he thinks he's too far down in his range, I guess, and decides to turn this hand into a bluff. He would have check raised with a 9 and 8, you know, some 10x. So I don't think he bets the 9 and the 8, but he doesn't bluff those. So this is one of the worser hands he's going to have here. It is a tough spot, right? In Konopong's shoes here.
Nice call.
Wow. Yeah.
Price is Right gets it in, and he is going to love that result as he is now back close to 100. So really, it's essentially a 2-to-1, 2-to-1 game. It was 3-to-1, and yeah, you double up here, you got a big lead. So it's dangerous. This is not over yet. All right, 90 million, 8-10 off, gonna open up 6-9, flops a pair. We see Jack do 6, club, sorry, spade, spade, diamond. 8-10 off, likely a small bet here. That's usually what you see, kind of see betting. There it is. Quarter bet, 6-9, certainly too good to go. So hard to make a pair, no limit hold'em. Some players play these differently, and we do see Eric, who has had some lead games. The spade comes in, he's got a 6. Does he ever want to start betting? We've seen him exercise some interesting lead.
Does it again?
Yeah, he loves this small lead, kind of put people in the cage a bit. And Kanapong has equity to a spade. He's also got overs to that 6 and the deuce. So yeah, can't blame him for calling. Another good sized pot, 27 million in the middle. And Eric has options here to bet small, check. I think, yeah, goes for the smallish bet and 8-10 off. This is not a situation of calling, so any tanking would imply a thought to raise, but that is not the case. Paired board, 8-10 off with the 10 of spades, gives it up 80 million to 213 and play some more poker.
Yeah, and I think Kanapong needs to find some raises on turns there. I mean, we've seen it twice now in the top pairs. Actually, that's more of Kanapong's range than it should be Eric's. Usually you'll see the big blind lead more like second pair that pairs or third pair. So he should get raised a fair amount when he leads when top pair pairs. And actually had a decent hand to do it that time with the 10 of spades, but certainly fine to just call too. You're getting a really good price.
Yeah, 3-5, gonna go for a bet here, and Eric doesn't really have a calling hand, decides to give it up. King deuce, jack 4, king deuce suited, Kanapong, best hand, best position, gonna raise, or I'm sorry, he's gonna limp. So here we go. We do see off the 30 blind stack, we start seeing the transfer in strategy. So a limp comes in, and jack 4 gonna check back and fold. So again, Kanapong, who any so far, heads up, you like anything? Have you seen? I'd say I think overall this is a pretty even matchup. I think they both do some things very well. I maybe would give the nod to Eric just based on a few sizings and such, but Kanapong definitely seems very capable and willing to play. So I don't know. I think it's close.
For sure. Kanapong's shown that he's not going to make any big folds to Eric or not even a big fold, not any small folds even. So he's definitely going to call him. So that can be a good thing for Eric if he picks up some hands for sure. But yeah, they both really get in some small value bets. They're both shown that they have that in their bag of tricks, like 10% pot river bets, 15% pot river bets, things like this. They've used those pretty effectively. See, that was another small bet, very small bet in position. And he does get the call from king high here.
Yeah, pretty nice board for ace-9. Although of course there's that deuce, but as played, the interesting part here is, is your hand high enough to raise? I mean, it's pretty strong hand. Ace-9.
This is an odd hand because this didn't Eric bet the turn? Pretty sure Eric bet the turn here. So it's weird to have a leading range there when Eric has the lead betting flop and turn. I don't think he should really get leads on the river, but he's getting close to that 25 big blind area again. Eric just raising it with a king queen suited would be happy just to get it all in if he faces shove there. Two playable hands here.
Yeah, some clubs. Hard to make hands, hard to make flushes. We are almost to 1,000, 27 more away. I'll release another $100 winner. And we did say if Eric wins, but I'm just going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying it's over, of course, but I do feel like
There is some action brewing.
Woo. Oh man.
Top pair versus open-ended plus backdoor flushes.
Oh, wow. All right, I'm gonna announce the winner right now of the it's Amaway. You have won. In case this is it. This has got all the makings, but then again, he's got a flush draw, Jeremy. He's blocking it, but this is oh man.
Potential action killer.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, is it the things miss? Although he's got the clubs. I just yeah, you're right. What is I guess Kanapon gonna go and check, and then I think he goes for it all here, right?
Yep.
Oh no, it doesn't matter.
There we go. That's it.
It's it.
Wow.
Snap call. It is over. 5-6 suited is gonna take it down. Eric Matson is your champion. 2,807,000. You guys earned that extra $100 giveaway, and Eric Matson 2,793,574. Congrats to your new World Series of Poker main event champion for 2022 here on GGPoker. Jeremy, do you have that bracelet handy? You want to show us what it looks like? He has got 5 bracelets. He has won an online one. Yours was a little different size, but in amount. But hey, when it comes in the mail, it comes in the mail. My man is going to be getting that, and I got to ask you. I love it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Very, very, very strong play today at the final table. Really, really enjoyed it. And Jeremy, I appreciate you coming in and taking the time. Anything, any hand, any moment, anything that really was a key moment or standout performance for you today? I mean, Eric seemed to basically lead the whole way.
He did. He just had the chip lead the entire way, just kind of cruised. Things went his way. He didn't really experience any bad beats that I remember, anything like that. He played aggressive. He played to win. You could tell that was his kind of approach coming in. He's playing to win, and so is the guy to his right. His name's slipping my mind, and didn't, either you. Sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it doesn't. So he played great. We saw some good poker. We saw a lot of different approaches. So it was cool. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It has been an absolutely epic day. Of course, you guys are used to GG Super Millions every Tuesday here. It's on the same time, and we will be back next week. This was a substitute, very special edition, 23 million plus in the prize pool. And of course, we will be back next week for more high stakes action. And that's going to conclude 33 events, huge prizes, huge purses, a lot of winners, a lot of excitement. And Jeremy, again, thank you for your time. Good luck in the Poker Masters, where I believe you are the leader of the series right now, and you're going over to late reg today, so we'll be sweating you. Where can they follow you on socials as well? Where do you like to post updates and such?
On my stories I post on Instagram, I'm just at Jeremy Osmus, and then on Twitter I say stupid stuff usually. It's kind of fun. So those are kind of all I'm on. So yeah.
I love it. All right, well, thanks again to everyone watching. We hope you enjoyed. Congrats to the winners of the tickets, and I will see you guys next week for the Super Millions Tuesday, same time, same place, 2:45 Eastern. We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, bud.